We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how can birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tăng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhật thiết chúng sanh, thịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liễu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Nan Tho Su Che Do Ye A La Hơ Đi Sa Miao San Pu To Xie. Nam mô Tăng Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya A La Ha Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Tọa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng she wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Cheng Liang, Great Master Shen Hua, all monks and nuns, and all good advisors, and may Tofo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大师、师父上人、各位持者人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Quốc sư, Hòa thượng Thiên Hoa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, thank you all for coming. Today is the 17th of December 2021. Oh, less than 2 days left till year end. And we are here at Wei Mountain Temple to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. Okay, we're on slide 13 and door number 1. And he's talking about these profound principles contained in the sutra here. This is the kind of transcendental wisdom that worldly people have no idea, have no clues what they're about, including us Buddhists who have some experience, some wisdom, some kung fu, if you will, if you really have no clues at all about this. This is a state of what the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas know about. And this is very profound Buddhist principles that the scholars of other religions have no idea of. I mean, for example, the Catholics, the Christians, they borrow from our 5 precepts to talk about morality, because morality is the foundation of their religion as well. So you look at their 10 Commandments and so forth, you know that they are very similar to our 5 precepts. Okay, and so that's why we feel no enmity or no threat from them at all, because we know that we're teaching the same thing, we're going after the same thing, goodness of your heart. That's all that matters. Okay? You can talk all you want. You can call yourself Catholic, Protestant, Muslim, and so forth, Taoist, and so forth, Buddhist, and so forth. All that matters is that this spiritual practice will bring you to a state of goodness in your heart. Okay? It refines your heart, your nature, so that it gets rid of your evil side of it, or evil components in your character. And what's left is the purity, is the goodness in your heart. Okay? It doesn't matter which religion, but that's what we all shoot for. Buddhism goes a little bit further. Okay? And because of this foundation of goodness, then we're able to tell you the bigger picture. Okay? Where here's what happens. Once you stick around long enough and you enjoy your nature, your goodness nature being refined, okay? You enjoy it, and then you appreciate what the Buddhist teaching is about. Then we unveil to you the bigger picture. This is contained in this sutra, Avatamsaka Sutra. And so it describes the universe as the Buddha sees it. Only the Buddhas can see it. We cannot see it. So this is sort of like a family secret, if you will. Okay? This is the path we on, where we go in a direction where we eventually, the Buddha shares his wisdom, his knowledge, his insights, is in the hope that we too will we have the same kind of insights and the same knowledge ourselves. Okay? That's what they call becoming a Buddha ourselves. Okay? Meaning that we can all have the same vision, the same knowledge. It's just that we don't know how to develop it. Okay, so the Buddha says, here's how you do it. And in order for you to get there, let me tell you what you're supposed to know. And this contains the sutra here. Okay, the Flower Adornment Sutra. And a particular prologue is a very special teaching from the Chinese.
是中国人给我们提供的一种非常特别的教导。清凉大师
he wrote this treatise here in order to highlight the profound principles that we may use. We were to read the sutra, the Avatamsaka Sutra, directly ourselves.
里面非常深奥的道理，我们直接读《华严经》，可能自己无法感受得到。
Lecturing on the sutra, I said maybe I skip this prologue.
在我计划讲这个《大方广佛华严经》的时候，曾经一度考虑是不是要跳过这个部分，就是这个《华严经书》。我觉得可能大家理解不了，但是现在5个6个月过去了，大家都还在，所以我很高兴。
I can't be more clearer than this. Okay. This is too much pressure. But anyway.
对我来说呢，讲这部经也是有很大的压力的。
This teaching here
坦率地说，
contain the Buddhist. This is the most profound Buddhist teaching.
华严经包含着佛教非常深奥的道理，
and this is the
非
kind
常
of
深奥
thing
的教
that
义。
no one else, no other religions can
这些教
come
义
even close. Okay, so we
没有其他的宗教
share
能够讲述。
among ourselves this profound Buddhist wisdom.
所以我们
Okay,
要在我
so
们
kudos
我
to
们
all
要
of you
在我们
for
大家之间的分享。
dropping up.
我鼓
Okay,
励
we
大
are
家
on
不
13.
要放弃，
Using a
不要
period of time of no time, there is privation of this place to no place.
以上无时之时，便此非处之处。
Okay, 14. He's discussing here
第14
the requisites,
他讨论
what
的是
determines a sutra. Why this Avatamsaka Sutra is called a sutra?
为什么
Because it has some
大方广佛
requirements.
华严
For
经是一
example, it
部
was
佛
spoken
经，
at a certain
它是
point
要
in
有一
time.
些基
And
本
the
的
Buddha
标
says,
准。
actually, when you guys see in this world, here's our world, the sutra being
在这个
spoken
时候
here
呢，佛说
after the Buddha became enlightened under
佛
the
在
Bodhi tree in
成
India.
佛
Okay,
之后，
it
他
actually
在
happened.
印度的
Okay.
菩提树下
Contrary to what
成
other
佛，
people might say about it,
他
actually
就开始
happened.
说
The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas certified that it actually happened. And when he spoke the sutra,
讲这部经呢，确实是发生了的事情。
came to
佛
listen.
和菩萨参加的
And Bodhisattvas in numbers
菩
as
萨，
many as clouds, endless
很多
clouds.
很多的菩
So you
萨，
can
像
imagine the
云一
state
样
when the
多的
Buddha sat
菩
there
萨，
under the
数量
Bodhi
的菩
tree,
萨
and
都来
the
参加这个法
Bodhisattva
会。
came. Yeah.
佛
Countless
坐在
Bodhisattvas
菩提
came.
树下，
And we have no idea how
无
it
数
came.
的菩萨
You know,
前来。
each room has
我们
capacity.
不知
How
道
is it possible you
这
can
个
have
数量是
innumerable
多少，
Bodhisattvas
我们
coming?
不能
And
想
each
象，
will
因为
bring
每
their
个房
own
间它也有
lotus
一个
days
容纳
throne.
量，但是
You
呢，
know, me Bodhisattva,
每
big
一
shot.
位菩
Okay?
萨
So
都
it's
带
so
着他
cool.
们的这个宝
This
座
is a
前
state
来
that is
听
beyond our
华严
comprehension.
经。这样一
Okay?
个境界呢，是我们所
And,
无法
and
理
so,
解的。
so when that was spoken back then, maybe
这
3,000
部
years
经，
ago,
佛在说
around
这部经的
3,000
时
years
候，
ago, it actually
大
was
约是
spoken.
3000
And
年
then the
之
Master
前。
Xing says, actually, it's not just spoken here. It's spoken
清凉大师
everywhere.
说，他不仅仅是在
Actually,
这里
okay,
说
it's
的，
spoken
他是在一切地方说的，
everywhere in the universe. Okay,
是
and
在
that's
宇宙
why
的一
that's
切
why
处说的。
don't be stuck on this place here. It's spoken.
所以
The sutra actually spoken
不要
under
执
the
着
Bodhi
于
tree.
某
Actually
一个地
spoken
方，
everywhere.
不仅
And
仅是在
it's
菩提树
constantly
下，
being
佛不仅
spoken.
仅是在菩
That's
提
a
树下
concept
讲，
that
而是
surprised
在
me. I
所有
thought
的地
when I
方
first
讲，
heard of it,
而且
sutra,
他
I
也一
said,
直在讲。
wow, spoken once, how
当我最
wonderful.
开始
But
听到
no,
这部经
actually,
的时候，
the Buddhas, because
讲
his teaching is
佛
so
讲了一
profound,
次
so important.
后来我想，这个
For
教
our
这个经，
emancipation,
它的道理
our
如此重
unfolding,
要。
our ultimate wisdom. I mean, your ultimate wisdom. Okay, so it's spoken constantly to help us get there quicker. Okay, so it was spoken constantly and spoken everywhere, not just at the Bodhi tree. Okay, so don't be stuck on places. Don't be stuck on time. So this sutra is spoken continuously through time. Okay, and it's spoken everywhere as well. Okay, when you talk about theory or principle, is called the Dharma door of unobstructed interpenetration of time and place in perfect fusion, whatever it means. Okay.
所以这个道理呢是有一个玄门，有一个具体的名字的玄门来描述。
Because it's spoken this time here doesn't mean it's not spoken
也就是它
at another time.
遍及了所有的时间，遍及了所有的地方。它在这棵菩提树下讲，并不妨碍佛在宇宙的其他一切地方讲这部经。
Interplay here, just because it's spoken here in our sound world at the Bodhi tree at that particular time, does not prevent it from being spoken at the same time at another place. Or conversely, or it could be spoken at that time, in the sound world or our world in a Bodhi tree. Okay, in the Bodhi tree, just because it's spoken there does not prevent it from being spoken elsewhere as well. Okay, so there's no physical
他在别的地方讲这部经也不妨碍，他在我们娑婆世界。
This is the state of the Avatamsaka Sutta. Okay, no limits, no restrictions on time and space. Only the Buddhists would talk about things like this. The other religions would talk about, gains, benefits, fame, and so forth. But here we talk about emancipation in your mind, removing the boundaries in your mind. Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. So, when the Buddha became enlightened, is it like he put this world on the map, so to speak? Forgive me, the closest thing I can think of is early in the story of Star Trek, when the human race is trying to get to a certain technological level, and the aliens are kind of watching us, but they don't want to reveal themselves to us yet because we're not quite ready for that encounter.
Episode 54, yeah.
So I wasn't expecting you to know the episode, Master.
I watched the episode. I love Star Trek.
And so when the Buddha became enlightened,
until Captain Kirk got older.
I always preferred the original Captain Kirk myself.
Yeah, and the latest one with Jeff Bezos is disappointing. It's like my idol being destroyed in front of my eyes in that capsule. Sorry, just sentimental.
Was it like the first time that the bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, and all of the beings that came had visited this realm, or had they come here before?
Shakyamuni Buddha said, that's a good question. Shakyamuni Buddha said in one of the sutras called Brahmana Sutra, that's a sutra that explains about the bodhisattva precepts. He says, I come to this land here, this world here, 8,000 times already. Okay, here's what happens. The Buddhas come and go as they please. They come maybe officially. For example, Buddha says, I will come to the South world at such a time. And he came here and became Shakyamuni Buddha. And the next Buddha says, I will come next, 16 million years later. And I be called Maitreya. Why? Because I'm waiting right now. I'm waiting upstairs in the Tushita heaven, inner court, waiting for the time to be ripe. What does it mean for the time to be ripe? A time to be a time for him to do his work. Meaning that it's the right time for him to come down to our world from the Tushita heaven and then teach his people. So he would, so in the future, as the sutras predicted, they presaged that in the future, Maitreya will come down here in about 60 million more years, if you can wait that long. He will come down here and go through the 8 manifestations, becoming a Buddha, okay, being born, and then and being bathed by the dragons, the 9 dragons, and so forth, okay? And then manifesting, living a whole life and cultivating the ascetic ways, the extreme ascetic ways, and becoming enlightened under the Bodhi tree and so forth, okay? So all those there are 8 manifestations of the Buddhas when they come to our world, of how they become a Buddha. Okay? And so every single Buddha, they go through that in our world. Okay? In this our world. Every single Buddha who comes here, okay, will go through the 8 manifestations of becoming a Buddha. Okay? So after the Buddha Dharma disappears and comes back, it's the same thing. The same thing happens again. When Maitreya comes here, it's going to be the same scenario. Next Buddha comes here, same scenario. Okay? So it will be 60 million years later. So they have this prediction already. Like 1,000 Buddhas will appear in our era, Kalpa, called Worthy Kalpa. Okay? That's what Xian is also meaning that this Dharma should hopefully, last for the entire Kalpa.
我们希望这个佛法呢，能够在所有的贤劫，在这个整个贤劫都兴盛，都持续下来。
So the Buddha came here 8,000 times already. Not always are the Buddha.
所以佛呢，来到我们世界已经有8000次了。
Could be as a bodhisattva, could be as an immortal.
他可能此前呢，是以仙人或者是象王或者是菩萨的身份来的。这不是他第一次来到我们的娑婆世界，他成佛这一次。
Doesn't quite put it in the map. It's what you have this concept here is called world or galaxy, as worldly people know it.
我们的这个概念的世间或者是星系， 这个星系呢，是很久之前创建的。它经历了
growth or change,
成、住，它在成长、扩大、发生变化，然后呢会进入一个停止成长、开始衰败的这个过程。最后呢，它会进入一个被毁坏的阶段。成、住、坏、空这4个阶段，就是。
Same thing with us. We're born.
出生之后成长，变化，然后开始衰老。最后呢，就是空，就是结束了。我们的人生也是如此。人还有世界，都是会经历这4个阶段的。昨天有学生问我，是不是净土也会经历成、住、坏、空这4个阶段？是的。
And so it's hardly the first time at all, and that Shakyamuni Buddha came here, and it's not, he doesn't quite per se put it on the map. He just came here, like Maitreya, like past Buddhas, like future Buddhas, because
用地图来记录。在他之后呢，还会有弥勒佛等等其他的佛。当时的情形对于他来说，是一个非常理解的状况，状态。他可以成道，然后教导大家。当佛示现在世界上的时候，每一件当时的情况，每一种状况都是非常理想的。你们中很多人不断的挣扎，有些人进步很快，大部分人呢进展很慢，因为情形不那么理想。而释迦牟尼佛在3000年之前来到娑婆世界，一切属于理想状态。他在成佛之后就去了鹿野苑，开始了第一次的讲法。很快，他的一位学生就觉悟了。在此之后呢，很多人呢也证到了这个4果罗汉。所以我们可以看到，释迦牟尼佛他用了50年教化众生，当时的状况非常理想，非常适合他来教学。他为我们的后世留下了知识，留下了遗产。弥勒佛呢，下生之后只会教化大家一天一夜。但是呢，他也会度化无量的众生，所以每一位佛到我们这里来，他们都有他们自己的议程。就像月亮围绕着地球转一样，因为这个存在着变化的周期。当情形变成理想情况之后，佛就会来到我们的世界来度化大家，因为他们发愿，他们在过去发过愿，要帮助大家。当大家都聚拢到一个地方来的时候，佛说好，那我们就开始，所以他们就来了。所以这并不是他第一次来，释迦牟尼佛第一次来。还有其他问题吗
？We learning about this universe is way beyond our.
我们正在学习的关于宇宙的知识呢，是远远超出了科学家和天文望远镜所能够看到的。我们在星球大战中也了解到一些知识。
They're so backward, actually very advanced. They disguise themselves because they don't want, because then they can keep an eye on us so that we behave, okay, and so forth. And so this world here that we are discovering is from the eyes of the Buddhas, not the eyes of Captain Kirk.
发现的 这个世界
a treat for Buddhists.
是佛菩萨给予我们
Furthermore,
赠送
some
给我
say
们
the
的知
sutta
识。
was spoken in an impure land
第
because he
15
dwelt in Magadha
有些人说
and
呢
so forth.
这是在非不净土所
然有
说的。
言：此经在秽土说，居摩诘等故。
All right, 16. Some say the sutra was spoken in impure land. Okay, so
有些人说
we're discussing
这个
where the
经呢是在
sutra
不
was
净土
spoken.
所说的。
And
我们来讨论一下
true
这
to
个经是在什么
his
地方
nature,
说的。
Master Qingliang is very academic, very scholarly. He discusses everything to death.
清凉大师是非常有学者风范的，他在这里进行了深入的
that's a
探
chance
讨。
for us to peek into the kinds of details. That's kind
我
of
们也有机会得以看
entertaining,
看
if
这
you
些
will,
细
that
节，
to talk
这
about.
些细节
But
非
don't
常
get a
有
big
意
head
思。
because in our world,
但是你们也不用过
this
于
is
着迷。
we cultivate in order to prepare to
在我们的世界里，我们
absorb
修行
this kind of information. Okay,
就是
but
为了能
it's
够
sometimes fun to talk about.
消化这些信息。 有的时候
And,
讨论这些信息很
so
有
he
意思。
says, where is this Flower Adornment Sutra was spoken?
他说
It was spoken in
大
seven
方广佛
places
华
and
严
nine
经是在什么地
assemblies.
方说的呢？
All right.
它是
And
在
so,
7个地方用9个法会
in
讲
our
的。
Saha world, okay,
在我们的娑
one
婆
of
世
the
界
seven places is the Bodhi
，7
tree.
个世界里
And
头
when
呢
he first
，7个地
became
方呢
enlightened,
有一个
became a Buddha.
菩提树，一是菩提树，
And he
就是
says
佛
of these
悟道的那个菩提树。
occasions, these assemblies, 5 assemblies were among the humans, 4 assemblies were in the
9个法会
heavens.
呢，5个法会是在人间，
So
还有4个法会呢是在天上。
so, however, so when you go into the sutra, the actual truth says well, some of the chapters are spoken in different places.
自己读这些经的时候呢，
And so
会发
some
现
say
它不同的这个章、不
that
同的品是
this
在不同的
Buddha
地方说
actually
的。
was spoken in the pure land of Saha, our Saha world, because he dwelt in Magadha and so forth. Now, there's a concept here, Buddhism, about how the universe
这个经在非净土说，是因为
is composed
佛
of.
住在
So
我
the
们的这个
universe
摩羯等
is
摩
has
羯这个地方等等。
endless, countless, infinite number of galaxies, as you will. Each
宇
galaxy
宙中呢
is
有
in
无量无
Buddhism
边的
called
无数的
Buddha
星
land.
系，
Because each galaxy
每一个
has
星系
a
呢
host,
都有佛
a
土，
teaching host. Our world,
因
Saha
每一个
world,
星系呢
okay,
都有一个教佛法的法主。
was created by Shakyamuni Buddha.
我们的这个
Okay,
娑
so
婆
he
世界
created these Buddhas. They create these worlds or these
是由
lands,
释迦牟尼
Buddha
佛
lands. And that's where they
建立了
can
这个佛
gather
土。
the people that they
在
want
这
to
个
cross
佛土
over.
上呢，大家可
They
以
want to help. Okay, so we are among those people that
聚拢
Shakyamuni Buddha
来被
wants to
这个
help,
佛来度
whether
化
you。believe or
所以
not.
我们就是释
So that's
迦
the
牟尼
cool
佛
thing
希望
about
帮
it.
助的人。
It's not like the Buddha created this world and said, "Oh, you all have to become Buddhists."
并不
Not
是
at
说
all.
佛为我们
Okay.
创建了
You
这个
all
土
can become,
佛土，说你
you
们都
can
要成
become,
佛。
some of you are Catholic, some of you are Christian, some of you are
在我们
Mormon
这
and
个
so
世界
forth.
上呢，有
It's
些人
perfectly
是
okay.
天
But
主
the
徒，
Buddha
有些
says,
人是
I'm
基
going
督
to gather
徒，有
all
些
of you
人
here
是
because
摩门
this is
教徒。
the best place for you to get my help. Okay,
佛
where
呢
I
建
can
立了这样
protect
一
you,
个佛土，
I
说
can guide
在
you
这个地方
along
呢
the way.
你们可以
Okay.
是一个最好的
So
地方，你们
if
可
you
以获
will,
得我
it's
的帮助， 我会
anarchy.
保
It
护
is
你们，
total
会给你
freedom.
们提供
Okay.
指导。
of being yourself without any mold.
你们也可以完
Does
全
it
自
make
由的
sense?
做自
You
己。
don't need to be a Buddhist in order for the Buddha, for
你
Shakyamuni
不需
Buddha
要
to help you.
先成为一个佛教
You don't
徒
even need to
才
like
可以
him
获得释迦牟尼
in
佛的
order
帮
for the
助。
Buddha to
你甚至都不需要
help you
去喜欢释
because
迦
you're
牟尼
here
佛，
already, so that means he's going to help you
因为你已
regardless.
经在这个地方了，
It's what's so
所以他
cool
呢无
about
论
it.
如何都
You
会
don't
帮助
believe
你。
him? You say, I
这是
believe
非
in
常
God, I
酷的。
believe in Allah, and so forth. Buddha says,
你
no
不
problem,
相信
I
他，
will
你
still
说
help you.
我信天主，我信
That's
安
how
拉。
all
佛说
embrace
没有
it.
问题，我还是会
Buddhism
帮
is.
助你的。所以佛教呢，就是拥
What
抱一
matters
切的。
is your ultimate
一个宗教。
liberation, your ultimate happiness. Who
重
cares
要的是你
how
们
you
是否能
describe
够获得
yourself?
最终的解脱，能够离苦得
Don't
乐
be，so
离苦得乐。
narrow-minded.
我们并不在意你们如何描
Oh,
述你们
must
自己，
be
你们的心
Buddhist.
不要太狭隘，
Otherwise,
不要想
you know,
我一定要成为一个佛教徒，
You should become Buddhist.
否则的话
That's baloney. There's no such a thing. You can be who you are. Be all you can be. Okay.
不需要
Yes.
成为佛教徒才觉得才能够获得佛的帮助。
Yeah, sounds good,
问
doesn't
题
it?
第9个，
Nine.
第9位。
So I was talking to my brother today, and he
我
he
今
was
天和我
saying
的
that
兄弟
every person
讲
from
话，
a specific
他说
political preference who supports a specific
每一个人都有自己在政党上的
presidential
偏
candidate
好，
should be punched in the face.
都有自己
And
想
I
支持的
said,
这
you know,
个总
I
统候
disagree
选
with
人。
you. I think
他说那些和我不一
you
样的
know,
呢，我很不
the
喜欢。
world should be
我说
founded
我
on
和你
freedom, and
观
people
点
should
不
be free to
同，
make their own
我们
choices.
的这个世
He said,
界
yeah,
呢
should be free
应
to
该是
punch you
自
in the
由
face.
的，
I said, you know,
每个人都
I
要有
really
自己
think,
的
you
自
know,
由。 他
the
说我
Buddha
仍然有自由，不喜欢
made
他。
the world to have
我说
ultimate freedom and complete
佛呢是让这个世界有
cause and effect
终极的自由，
consequences that are very
但是
accurate
同时也有
in this
因
impure
果。
world for a
每
reason,
做一件事情呢是有非常
right?
精确的后果的，
Because
而且每一样事情的发生都有非常精确的原因。
Are you switching back to talking to me or talking to your brother?
I'm asking you now, right? So
你现在说的是跟你兄弟说的，还是跟我
I
说
didn't
的？
say that to him. I just said I don't agree with you, and you know he tried to
我
get
刚
in
才
an
这些
argument
呢，
with me,
并
and
没
I
有
just
跟
didn't
他
want to
说。
argue with him.
Son, you need to have transition. You understand transition?
Yeah.
Like Master
你需
Shimon
要一
talks
个
Ramen, you
过
cannot
渡。
tell who he's talking about.
宣
Now
化
we Westerners, what is he talking about?
上人所教的法，
Okay, transition,
你需
transition.
要一个
Li Zongsen,
过渡。
where are we?
So yeah.
我们现在是在什么地方？
Shakyamuni Buddha made the impure world.
释迦牟尼
perfect cause
佛
and
建立了
effect,
这个不净土，叫秽土，
and
在这个
for us to have complete freedom.
在
And
这
in
里
the
呢
Pure Land, we don't
是
have.
有因果的，我们也有
Do
完
we,
全
do
的
we have
自由。
complete freedom? Like does cause and effect work in the
在
same way, or is that
净
just
土
a
我们是不是也有
specific
同样的
consequence of
自
being
由
in the？
是
impure
不是也
land?
有同样的因果？
It's the same cause and effect everywhere. The law's cause and effect is true universally wherever you are.
因果呢
And
是
whatever
同
cause you plant, you can have
因
the
果这个
the
定律呢，在
corresponding
宇宙上
effects,
哪里都是一
corresponding
样的。
consequences. It doesn't matter where you are. It's not the Buddha who created the law. It's just the universal law that the Buddha observed. That is consistent throughout the universe. Okay.
宇宙
yes,
存在的一个
back
基本的
there.
原则，在宇宙各处都有，它
Master
都是适用的。
Alfonso said, I had a dream where I transcended time and space. I realized that past, present, and future are happening at the same time. All that is the present moment. Is it like that, Master? A metaphor.
Congratulations, you become a Buddha.
是不是最重要的只是当下？
If it's
师
true,
父说
then you become a
祝贺
Buddha
你。
already. If you have to ask, then you're not a Buddha.
如果你
meaning
能
that
感受到这一
it's
点呢，
hallucination
你就成
for
佛
you.
了。如果
I'm
你还要
sorry,
问的话，
I'm
那你
gonna
就
have
还
to
没有
learn how to be
到那个
more
境界。
polite. I'm blunt.
抱歉，
Because my master never
我要
taught
学
me how
习
to
如何
speak
变得
Dharma.
更礼貌。我说话太
It's
直
all
接
his
了，
fault.
因为我的师傅呢没有教过我如何讲法，如何讲经说法，所以这
It's
是他
not.
的
It's not. The experience he
错
describes
误。
is hallucination.
你
It's
所描
just
述的这个
imagination. That's
经
what
历经
your
验呢，
mind
是你的想
can
象。
do to you. It plays tricks to you. It's so real to you.
这就是说，你的
I'm sorry.
这个心，你的
It's
念
the
头
truth.
可以跟你玩把戏，它
Your
可以
mind
欺
is
骗
so
你。
powerful that
你的心非常的
its
有力量，
imagination is
这种想象
is wonderful, if you will. That's why you can
非
create
常
music and create,
了不起。
masterpieces.
所以呢，
Okay? If
你才能够，
you
你们
let
大家
it
才能够
go,
创造
you
音
learn how
乐
to，let it go.
创造那些大师级的作品。
And so,
但是呢，你要学会去放下。
where were we? I don't think so. My short
我们到
answer is
哪儿了？
I don't think so. Dream on.
回答你的问题是，我觉得不是。
For you to see past and present and future all merged together, you got to be a
如果你能够
bodhisattva.
看到 过去、现在和未来都
More
融为
likely
一
a
体了，
Buddha.
那你一定是一个菩
Yes.
萨了。
So you argue with your brother, and you say he's
所以
wrong.
呢，你和你的
Okay.
兄弟进行
And
了
what did
辩
he
论。
say? He wants to shoot you?
你说他不对，他说什么呢？他是
no.
想把你
Can we
开枪打你吗？
transition back to that talk and see how it ended?
我们
You
能不
killed
能
him?
再
You
回
here?
到
So what happened to
刚才
him?
你和你兄弟的对话
He's
上，
at home.
看看是怎么
Oh,
结束的？
nothing violent happened.
No.
他现在在家里， 还没有
no.
发生暴力事
I
件
don't。remember how it ended. I think we started talking about something else.
Well, when you talk to people, come on. I mean, you
我不记得
should
我
be
们怎么
more
结束了
open-minded than that. When you talk to people,
谈
will
话。
can we agree
我们
that
可
we
能后来
shouldn't
又谈
try
别
to
的内容
convert
了。
people into our way of thinking?
Well, I
Can we do
didn't.
that?
I didn't talk to him about Buddha or anything. I just said I think people should be free to believe whatever they want, and whether it's right or wrong.
Was he asking for your opinion, or he just
我
simply
觉得
stating his
人们有
opinion?
自由去选择
No,
他
he
们的
wanted to
两
have
党
a
的信仰。
conversation.
他
You
是
want to have a
Yeah, he
conversation?
always does that.
想
Yeah.
征求你的意见，还只是想
Okay.
表达自己的观点。
Then speak
他希
nonsense
望
to
能
him.
够
It
有
doesn't matter.
I wasn't trying to prove a point or anything. I was just talking to him.
All right, good.
But I have a
Then why are you trying to make a point here now?
no. I was trying to ask you something else.
Oh, excuse me.
So I was at my friend's house, and his mom was watching something about
We'll transition back to another place.
yeah. This
Okay,
is like,
okay.
This is
So-
like almost 6 months ago.
And another time. Okay.
It was a long time ago, yeah. And so I was at my friend's
很久
house,
之前，
and his mom was
我到
watching
了朋友
something
家。
on near-death experiences, and this
他
guy
的妈妈呢
was
正
like
在
an
看一
expert
个
on
关
it,
于濒死经历的
and
东
he
西。
had talked to a lot of people who experienced near-death experiences, and he said
这
that
是一位专家，
like
他
every
讲
single
了
one of
很
them,
多
this is like
的濒死经历，
100% of them
就是很多
said
人
that
身
they
上
had the
发
same
生的。
experience. They walked through like a
100%这些有
bright
濒
light,
死经历的人呢，
and there was like an angel there or something there, like
强烈的
a
光，
light
还有
being
天
who was there
使
to greet them. And what they did
来
was
欢
they
迎他们。
experienced their whole life from a third-person
他们呢，
perspective.
从
And
一个第三
like
者
they
的角
said,
度
they said
看，
there was
经
no
历了自己
time,
的一生。
and there was
他们
like it was like
感
no
受到了
time.
并没
They
有时
experienced the
间。
whole entire life
Yeah.
in a third-person
在那个时候，
from a
他
third
们从
person.
第
It
三者的
happens a
角
lot.
度
I mean,
经
that
历了
part
他
I
们的
hear.
整
I
个
don't
的
know
一生。
about you, but actually it happens to me
师
too
父说
when I was near death. At some point in time, my part of my life
在
flashed in front of me.
在我的
This is way before I
这个
became Buddhist.
个人经历中，我也
So
有
it
这
has
样的
nothing to
濒
do
死
with
经历，
Buddhism.
我也有。
Well, the one thing all these people had in common was they didn't actually
在
die.
我很久之
So
前
was
还没
it
有成为佛教徒
possible
的时
that this is
候
actual?
发生的。
I had the same experience too. I didn't
我也有
actually
同
die.
样的经历，
I was on
我
the
当
verge
时
of
呢
death.
也没有死掉，只是在
So you
死亡
saw
的
your
边
whole
缘
life
上。
from a third-person perspective.
Not
所以
necessarily third
您当
person.
时
It's
是
just like
从
just like
第
a
三
movie.
者
It's just
第三者的角度看到了
Like
自己的
that.
一生，不是第三者，
So
就像
cool.
一个电影一样。
So is that what
非
things
常
you forgot, and you say, "Oh wow, I was really bad, wasn't I?"
有些事情你都忘记了，然后你看到了说哦，是这样的，我当时还挺不好的。
Yeah.
Is
go
that
ahead.
what happens when you die?
I
这
don't
是我
know.
们死的时候会发生
Who
的情
cares?
况吗？我不知道。师傅说
If
我不
it
知道，
happens,
谁
so
在乎
what? It
呢？
doesn't happen, so what?
如果
How
发
does it
生
change
了又怎么
anything?
样？如果不发生又怎么样？
If you
它能
die,
够改变
what's
什么
good? You
吗？
know,
如果你死了，
whether you have a dream going, of your your entire life or not, how
你
does
是
it?
不是会梦到你整个的一生？
Why is it? Why does it matter?
它又有什么呢？
It's just weird.
提问人说只是奇
Yeah.
怪，
It's not always the
有些
case.
有点
Not
奇
always
怪。
people can see the life,
师傅说，并不永远是
unfolding,
这样的一
playing
个
in
情
front of
形，
them
并
again.
不是每一
It's
个
not
人
not
都
always
能
the
够在
case.
临死之前看到自己的一生。
But it happens. It happens that people,
但是
like your mind plays tricks on
会
you
发生这
and
种
it
情况，
replays
这是你的心
from
呢
memory banks.
在和你做游戏。
And in particular, I don't know about other people, but for me, I can see
我不知道
why.
其他人
I
是怎
love
样的。
movies. It's such a beautiful artistic medium, that includes music, includes dance, includes, the major arts of our civilization, all put together right there. Okay? And all I have to do is pay $10. Sorry. The last 07 movie is a disappointment. It's not worth $10. Really agree. I don't know you folks, but it's the last movie of James Bond, Daniel Craig, okay? And I figure I will have to send him away properly. So instead of waiting for it to get to the TV, I decided to go out there and stand in line and buy a ticket and sit there in front of a big screen and have all these sound effects, and so that I can properly say goodbye to Daniel Craig. But I fell asleep. It's so boring. Sorry. Yes, one.
Daniel Wisniewski saying so there may be mini Buddhas that haven't learned Dharma in this world? ? The word mini mean that the Buddha like people. They aren't the Buddha, but little Buddha.
No. There's no such a thing, little Buddha, except in the movies. Okay? I can think of that what's that again? That Harrison Ford movie. Anyway, you guys.
我能够想到的呢是 Harrison Ford
So
的电
boring.
影。
Oh God. You guys are only Americans into sports and whatever. You really are not into arts at all. Jesus.
只是喜欢
Such
运动，并没有
Anyway,
对于艺术特别着迷，好无知。
there's no mini Buddha. There's no such a thing. You're a Buddha or you're
并
Buddha
没
to
有
be
小佛这样的一个
from
东
a
西。
Buddhist perspective.
要不然你
You
就是
are
佛，
Buddhas
要
to
不然你
be.
就是未来
Especially those of you
将会成
who
为
are
的
tuning in or
成
are
为佛
here.
的人。
You are Buddhas to be.
特别
Okay?
是
And when you become a Buddha, please
像
don't
你们
forget about
在
me.
座的各位，你们都
Okay?
是
Uh,
未来。
and all I
佛。
want is a
当
nice
你们
red
成
car.
了佛以后呢，不要忘记我。我只是想要
Not
一
electric.
辆
I
豪车，
hate electric cars.
不要电车。我非常不喜欢电
So
动
anyway,
车。
so we are future Buddhas because what happened is that
我们
the
是
mere fact you're listening,
未来的
you're
佛。
tuning in right now, you're listening, you planted the seeds for you,
你
you become a
们
Buddha
现在
yourself.
听这部经，
Okay, sooner
就
or
已经
later,
种下了未
and
来
nothing
成
you
佛
can
的
do
种子。
about it. Maybe that's why Daniel
早晚
doesn't
都会
come
成
here
佛的。
anymore. Okay, all the people who can
这
listen
个你
in
们
and
是没有
listen
办
to
法
this
阻止
and
的，也
whatever,
许
they
出于
will
这个
become
原因，丹尼
Buddhas.
尔不再
Whether
来
they're
了。
Catholic, Mormon, or
任何一个
Protestant,
人
or
只要
whatever.
坚持
So
听
now you understand
就
why
会
I
成
spent
为
so
佛。
much money, even when I
不管
didn't
他
have
的宗
money
教信仰
to
是什么。
invest in all the internet thing, so that we dump it on the internet, and people would just click on it and say, "Hey, Buddha, Buddha," and they all become Buddhas in
我
the
花了很
future.
多的资金来投资于
Very tricky.
互联网，我们把我们的法
Yes,
放在了互联网上。
So
互联
it's a
网
matter
上
of time.
这样可
So
以更
that's
好的
why
传播。
we call that we all have the Buddha
这是一个
nature.
时
We
间
have
的
a
问
Buddhas to
题。
be. Okay, not mini Buddhas.
所以我们都
Mini
说我们有
Buddhas
佛，
is
我们
like
说我
a
们每一个人
mini
都有
me.
佛性，
Is
我们是未来佛，
sounds
而不是小佛。
disrespectful.
小
Yes,
佛是
go
说
ahead.
小，这里呢就
Number
有
4.
不
Thank you,
恭敬
Master.
的
So
成分。
is using
第四，
imagination considered as a
谢
false
谢师
thought
父。
then?
Yes.
我
Imagination
们使用想
is
象力是
using
不是
the
也属于
thoughts.
妄念？师父的回答是：是。
Imagination is thinking.
想象就是使用了你们的念头，想
Okay.
象就是思考，
It's perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong using your thinking, using your imagination
这是可
at
以的。
the right time.
使用你们的思考，使用你
What
们
happened
的
is we,
想象，在正确的时候是可以的，正确的
we
时间是可以的。
use at the wrong time. We cannot control ourselves. We keep
我
on
们有的
thinking
时候
and
是在
thinking
错误
and
的时
thinking
间使用
endlessly.
了，我们
Every
就
single day, you wake up, you start thinking until
每
you
天呢就
pass
不
out.
停的想，你只
You
要一
cannot
醒
stop.
来就是在想。
Yes. 4.
So I see a lot of artists or musicians going crazy because they think too much, they're into their work, they lose their self-identity, I guess.
Yes, they go berserk. It's true. Okay. However, in the creative process, as far as I understand it, if you care to hear my 2 cents worth, okay, the artist is a different world where they need to use their imagination to create, because that's how they relate to us. I don't care what you think, but eventually you have to say, this is what I'm thinking, this is how I see it, and you translate it into a piece of art, a work of art. Okay, so it's the thinking process right there. Okay? Because that thinking there is the description of how they feel, what they see. Okay? So there's thinking process involved in this creation, the creative process. However, where does this inspiration come from? Would you like to know?
这些灵感是从哪里来的呢？你们想知道吗？
Where does it come from?
灵感从哪里来
Yes, musician to be,
未来的音乐家
famous musician to be, I'm sorry. You're a musician
未来
already,
的著
but
名音
not
乐家
famous.
I don't know if you're going to say it comes from the heavens or it comes from the Buddhas or something like that, but I've definitely heard
我
some
不知道
really
您是
dark
不是会说是
music
从天上来
that
的，
could potentially come from the
但是
demons
从
as
佛
well.
那里来的。
It comes in many
我是
places,
觉得
very
有
good.
些音乐呢
Sometimes
是从
you know, these people
魔鬼
have
那里来的。
inspiration and they hear heavenly music, okay? They hear music in the ears and they start writing it down.
有的
That
时候这
happens.
些人有灵
Sometimes
感，他们能够
they
听到
hear it from,
天上的
from
音乐，
somewhere in the
天籁，
mind, in
然后就把它写
in
下
their
来。
heart, okay? It could be
这是
from the
确实发
demons,
生
we don't
过的
know,
事情。
okay? But I'm telling you about the normal process of creation, of creative process, not about getting aid
有
or
的时候
getting
呢，
influenced. The normal creative process is that whether you create music or art and so forth, okay, or piece of art and so forth, and you doing something that's not seen before, that breaks the boundaries, okay? How does it occur? Of course, I'm not an artist. I just have a big mouth. Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. My 2 cents is, well, many artists will tell you it's because they're putting their blood on the page, but
很多艺术家
maybe
呢
a
是
cleaner
会
way of
会
saying
回答
it
说，
is
他们把他们的心血放在了
they're
纸
able
上。
to use their chi and expose their chi that's unique to them.
Okay, very appropriate. Yes, sir.
Master, when I make music, a lot of the time I don't hear it before working on it. It kind of just comes out as it will, and eventually it turns into a finished product.
Okay, very good. It's both. Both of you are right. Okay, let me tell you, okay? If you're not getting help from someone else, whether it's from the heavens or from the hells or so forth, we don't know, okay? It does happen, okay? But normally, if you want to depend on yourself in a self-contained creative process, okay? Here's what happens. You look at the
完全自
stories
主
of
自立的一
the
个创
great
作过程、
artists,
创作过程
okay,。whether it's
我们来
in
看
whatever
那
art
些
you're in,
大
whether
艺
it's
术
music,
家的
whether it's
故事，
painting
不管
or
是音
whatever,
乐
you
家
know, and
画家，
you find
还
that
是其他形式
many
的，
of them suffer
我们会
greatly.
看到，他们很多
They're
人
poor,
经历了
they are
大量的苦
oppressed,
难，
they are
他们
depressed,
贫困，
they're crazy, okay?
他们受到
All
压
those
迫，
are
他们自己
descriptions of what they're
非常
being
抑郁。
very, very poor and they suffer a lot. They're in great pain. Why is it important? Okay, the
为什
great
么这个很
pain
重要？
has to get to the extreme point. This is why the artists who are poor,
巨大的
who
痛
are
苦呢，
not
必须要达到一种
are
极致。
not like poor enough, destitute enough, they're only poor, they're lacking. Okay?
有些
They're missing
有些
in
艺术
things,
家呢，
but
他
they're
们
not
贫
extremely
困，
poor.
但是
They're
呢，
not
不是
extremely
极端贫困，他们可能只是有一点匮乏，只是缺一点
desperate.
点东西。
Okay? Because when you
并没有
get to
那
the
么绝
point
望。
where the suffering here enables them to, when it gets to the extreme,
当
their
这些极
thinking
端的
mind
苦难
stops.
到达了顶点，
Because they can't take it anymore. Say, I don't give a.
在这种状况下，
They
这
let
些
go.
艺术家他们的
They
思维
let
性
go,
停止
and
了，
because of that, the mind stopped thinking.
他们放下了一
And
切，
that's when
头脑停
they
止了思考。
get to another realm
在这个时候，
where they
他们进入
see
了另
things
外一个
differently.
境界，
Because if it weren't the case, they'd be seeing the same
用
thing
不
as
同的方式
before.
来看
Does it make
看东
sense?
西，他们看
That's
到的
what
东西就和以前
actually
不一样
happens.
了。
Physically, it has happened that way. Because
这就是实际
if
发生
they
的情况。
don't change the plane of their thoughts,
如
they
果
would
他
be
们不
thinking the
改
same
变
thing. It would
他
not
们思
nothing
维的
new.
层面，他们头脑的
Same old,
层
same
面，
old. But when they
他们
in
就
the
会
face of extreme suffering, like
是
you are
一
going
直是
through
在
right
同样
now,
的
you
旧的
went through
东西
right now,
旧的
the
状
the
态下。
pain from a lack of food
所以
and
在
what it
极端
does
的
in your
苦难
body
中，
and to your mind
就像你
is
们
extreme
所
pain.
正在经历
Yeah.
的，你们极端去
Look at
肌肉
that.
身体经历了极端的
Okay, that's when your mind
痛
stops.
苦
It says, I am too tired. I don't know. I don't care.
这个时候，你们的
Okay?
头脑呢就停止了，
And
就停
that's
下
when
思考了。
You
你就
go
说
to a
不在
different
意了。
plane. That's what happened in the
这个时候，
artists, the creative process.
你就进
These
入了一个
great
不同的
artists,
层
you know,
面。
like what's that
艺术家
guy,
们
the
的
crazy
创作过
guy
程
who,
也
who
是如
cut off
此。
his ear to
那
give
些
to
大
his
艺术
prostitute
家，
girlfriend. He fascinates me.
那个疯狂的
Van Gogh,
把
yeah,
自己
he
的耳朵
fascinates me. He's crazy his entire
切
life.
掉的那个叫什么？
He gets
梵
crazier
高
and crazier and crazier. It doesn't get
他一
any
生都
better.
是疯狂的，
And that's why his art got
他
better and better and
他只是
better.
越来越疯狂，一点都没有改善。
Okay? So,
所以他的作
because
品呢
you
越来越
suffer
好，
so much that you stop thinking.
因为你经历了如此的痛苦，
And that's how
你的
you
头脑
break,
停下了
you
思
push
考，
the
停止了
envelope
思考，
and you cross the boundaries
所以呢
of the
你就
norm,
实现了
of the
突
normal,
破，
of the ordinary. Your vision is
越
different,
过了这个普通的边
different
界，
plane. You buy that?
进入了一个新
I'm
的
no artist, but I think that's what happens. I hope the artists will chime in and
你
say,
所
oh,
看
you
到的也
idiot.
完全不同了。
What do
我
you
不是
know
艺
about
术
art?
家，
What do you know about creative process?
我希望呢，艺
Because
术家能够
the reason my rationale is that
发表他们的观点
that。mode, change in mode of thinking, has to be from a different plane. Otherwise,
思维模式的
it's
改
not
变呢，
physically possible.
一定要从一个不
And
同
it's
的
induced
境
by
界上。
suffering. Same thing. You going through this training here, going back to Chan,
在
the Chan Chi,
物理上
you go through this training here, and you suffering. You endure this what I
它
call
必须要有触发，
control suffering, supervised suffering, because it's designed to help you, stop thinking.
同样，你们正在经历的这个禅修的训练，
Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. I agree with you 1,000,000%, and I've never heard it articulated quite so simply. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, now you can all become very famous artists if you're willing to
这
endure
个
suffering.
提问说，师傅，我从来没有听到
There's a
这么
small
简单的一
price
个
to
描述，
pay.
非常感谢。
I specifically experienced that in college when I would have to write a paper, and I found I couldn't write the paper until I got exhausted.
Yeah, that's when you let go. That's when
这只是一个
that's
小的
when
代价，
and that's when
这种苦难只是一个小的代
you
价。
cross planes. Okay.
The other example I would give aside
提
from
问人说，我
exhaustion
在大学的时候
for the
曾经具体
professional
的经历
artist,
过。
it's called a deadline.
Yes. But it's not the same as suffering, though. This is
当
something
时呢，我
about
们有
the
很
human
多
psyche
就业有
where
很多的
when
这
you
个
suffer so much,
交稿期限，
you have
但
the
是师傅说
way
这和
to
苦
be
难还不
able
完全一样。
to stop
人的
your
心理
thinking
人类的心
because
理
you're
上讲
so
呢，
tired, you're so
在这个苦
exhausted.
难的
You
这
say,
个
"No, I don't
煎熬
care
下，你的头脑是会
Okay,
停
and
止思
that
考的，
split moment
你
right
会
there
想说，哦不，我
is
我
when
不
you
再
shift
在意了。
plane. Okay, it's fascinating to me because I
层次的
admire
转化。
the great artists. And so
对我
I've
来说
always
这非常
wondered about
了不起。
how they created these
我非
masterpieces.
常的
Okay.
喜欢那些伟大的艺术
Because they're
家，
not,
我一
they
直
don't
在
think
想
the
他们
same
是
as we
如
do.
何创造出
Okay,
这
so
些
that
大世
only
界的作品
happens
的。
when you stop
他
thinking.
们的思考可能和我们是不一样的。那么这唯一
Yes,
一
too.
种可能就是
And I
他
very
们
much
的
appreciate
思维
your
性
love for
停止了思
cinema.
考。
A common sensibility
提问
for
的人是我非
filmmakers
常
is,
赞赏您
and
喜欢
most likely in the case of No
喜
Time
欢
to
电影
Die that you just recently saw for James Bond.
In the movies, in the
您
theaters,
刚才说
When
到
you're
的这
making a
个
film,
007的电影 No
no
Time
film is
to
ever
Die。
finished. All films are abandoned.
当你制作
yeah,
一个电影片
I
子的
know
时
what you
候，
mean. Yeah,
没有一部
you
电影
being
呢
from
那
your
是完
background,
成
yeah,
了的，
right.
是成品。
Yeah. Time,
是
yeah,
不是说我理
deadline
解？
pressure.
我理解你的这个职业背景，
Sometimes it works,
里面
sometimes it doesn't, but you just
截
have to
稿
walk
期的
away.
压
Which
力。
Mm.
在制作电影的时
No,
候
I
呢，
appreciate how they they
有的时候
came up with the
顺利，有
script
的
and
时候
so
不
forth.
顺
But
利。
I feel it lacks it lacks originality. It's too commercialized. Yeah.
师傅说，我觉得这部电影呢，缺
This,
乏原创性，
it's
过于
fun,
商
but
业
you know.
色彩。
Yes.
I had a lot of friends
提问，
who were doing drugs and
很多的朋友。
substances to
他们是
work
吸
on
毒。
art and music, and a lot that still do.
才能
And
够进行
I
音乐的创造
realized that
的
when
创作
I
的。
got clean, my music, especially when I started coming to the temple,
我个人
it
的
got
经验是，
a
当我
lot
变得
better, and I
清
was
净的
able
时候，
to
我的音
work on
乐
it
大
a
有改
lot
善。特
faster,
别是我到了庙里之后，而且我的
and it was way
创
higher
作音乐的
quality.
过程呢也变得
Also, sometimes
高
when
速
I'm
了，
really
同
upset,
时作品的质量也提高
I
了。
make music. I'll make something and it's really good, right? It's some really good
我
stuff
创
I
作的
made,
音乐，
and I feel way better
有的时候
after
我
that.
觉得
Even
我
if it was like a negative song or something,
这个
it
作
felt
品
like I
不
got
错，
the emotion out
在
and
我
put it
完
into
成
the
了之后，
song,
我心
and
里
it sounded really
很
good.
开心。即便是
Absolutely.
我有的时候
Yes,
写的
one.
是一个有些悲伤的歌，
Master
师傅说完
San
全不一
Jose
样。
Daniel say, Master, the best gangster rap comes from artists who I know for a fact
然后
that
Daniel 说，
for a fact life what they rap about. I love the ambition, the pain, and the realness. My question is, what's wrong with me listening to the super gangster rap?
Nothing wrong with it.
那些非常好的
If it
这个
turns you
rap
on,
音
why
乐，它
not?
有的是来自于
It's a free country.
有这个黑帮背景的人创作的。他的问题
Don't
是，我
listen
要
to
应该
whatever
用什
just
么样的
because
心
I
态
like
来
or
听？
dislike something doesn't mean that you don't have to do it or do it. I mean, hey, I'm just
回答是
a big mouth. I just talk. Don't take me seriously.
我呢就是口无遮
It's the
拦，喜欢评
politicians
论，
that
喜
make a
欢说，
difference. We
所以
just
呢不用特
nonsense.
别在意。
Yes. He's very talkative tonight, number 9.
Yeah,
第
Master.
9
So
号今天晚上非常爱说话。
I also
第
listen
9
to a
号
lot
说
of really dark music that you can tell that the
我也
people who
听
made
很
it
多
are
非
really
常黑暗的
suffering.
音乐，
But the thing is somehow
可以
it's just
看到
better. I
这
don't
些
know
音乐
why,
的创造者
but
呢，
it's
他们是
better, in my
正在
opinion, than a
承
lot
受
of the
痛苦。
cut of the mill stuff. And it's more creative. And I heard one time that people who are
这些人是非
more
常有创造
depressed are more
性的。
creative because they use the creativity as an
有些人
escape. So they
他们抑郁
that's why they're more
所以
creative.
更加有创
Yes,
造性。
yes. You can go from on the good side as well
师
from
傅的
the,
回
from
答
the
是
evil
是
side.
的，
It works. It's just that you have to come from different perspectives.
他可
That's
以
all.
从好的方
That's
面
not
看，也可
being
以从不好
judgmental.
的方面
It's just
看。
creative process. Okay? It is what it
艺
is.
术创造呢，
Stop
只是
judging.
说你
I
要有
mean,
一个不
it's
同
just
的
music.
视角，你
If
要从不
if
同的角
Daniel
度来
San
看。
Jose loves violent crime,
如果圣何
hip
塞的
hop
Daniel
and
喜欢
rap and music and
这种
whatever, that's him.
hip hop 和这个
And then
有
after that, you should go
犯罪
get a
内容的音
tattoo,
乐，
new
那也是可
tattoo.
以
Say, hey man, this is a dedication to that beautiful song.
听完这个音乐之后呢，你可以
Why not?
在
I mean,
去在身上刺一
I
个
won't judge.
这个刺青，用它来 描述这个音乐的
Okay,
内
so
容。
I started by telling you
我并不
that
评判。
the world has the
所以
Buddha
呢，
lands,
我
or
跟
called
大
the
家
world,
讲的
and
是
the universe or
世界
Dharma
上
realm
呢
is
是有
it has
佛土。
infinite number of worlds. Okay, because there are
我们的
infinite
这个
number
法
of
界呢
Buddhas.
有
Each world is
无量
created
有
by
非
a
常
Buddha.
多的这个佛，也有
And
非常
so,
多的佛土。
so that's why
每一个
our
佛土呢
world
都
is
是
created
由
of
一位
Shakyamuni
佛所
Buddha
创
to
建的。
help
我们
us,
的这个
people
佛
like
土是
us,
由释迦牟尼佛
and
创
infinite
建的，
number of
要
other
用
worlds
于
are
来
also
帮助我
created
们
by
这些
other
人。
infinite number of Buddhas in order to help different kinds of living beings.
在这个宇宙中，
Okay?
有很多
So
很多的
that's
佛，
how
无
it
量
works
多
in
的
the
佛创
universe.
建了不同的
The
佛土，
Buddhas,
来帮
they
助不同
become
的
Buddha
众生。
because they created this environment in order to help
佛
us.
成了
Okay?
佛之后，
And
他们为我
within
们
this
创建
world
了这样
here,
的
you
环
have
境来
Buddhists
帮
and
助我们。
non-Buddhists. And some Buddhists say, I believe
在
in
我们的
Buddha.
世界
Some
上呢，有佛
non-Buddhists
教
say, I
徒，
don't believe in
也有
Buddha.
一些
And
非佛教
the
徒。
Buddha says, it's
非
okay
佛教
too.
徒说我
And
不信
this,
佛，
regardless of
佛
what you
说
say
那
or believe,
也
you
可
will
以，
become
不
Buddhists
管
too.
你说
That's
什
why
么，不管
you're
你相
here.
信什么，
Call yourself
你呢未
whatever.
来也
Doesn't
会
matter. You will become
成为
Buddhas.
佛。
Yes.
不管你自己把你自己叫做什么，
That's the ultimate Buddhist trick on people.
Diego Alfonso say, gangsters of the way, the middle way.
The middle way.
阿方索说我
Okay.
是这个
So
黑
you
帮
have
中的
yes.
中
Go
道。
ahead, Conk. Sorry to keep you waiting for so long.
保罗四提问。
Master, I'm just curious that why doesn't Buddha just
提问是我
erase
好
or
奇想知
kill
道
every living being so then nothing exists?
佛
The
是治
only
愈我
Buddha
们这
exists
些
so then no more suffering, no more evil?
众生吗？
No, honey.
I think it
just-
sounds more
Oh, no,
simple
no,
than
honey.
if or
Oh, no, honey. Don't talk like that. You are none already. You don't talk like that. People have the wrong impression of us. Buddhas don't kill people. Come on. Okay, honey. Please don't talk like that. Okay. Those your
你已
three
经你已
visitors who
经
run
是一
away.
位僧家的僧团成员了。
No,
不
no.
能这样
Buddhas
说
don't
话，否
kill.
则的话，你
What
的三位
happened
访客会
is
跑
that
掉的。
when
佛呢不会去
when
杀人。
the world comes to an end, some of the people
当世界
are supposed to
的末日，
die.
当
The
世界
Buddha don't kill them per se. Okay,
被
honey?
毁灭的时候呢，
The
有
Buddhas
些
don't
人呢是
kill.
会死去的。
We human
不是被
beings
佛
kill.
杀死
Buddhas
的。
don't kill. Okay?
佛
Period.
并不杀生，
So what
我
happens
们
is
人
people's
会有的时
life
候
will
会
come
杀
to
生
an。end. Okay?
这些人
Some
他们
like
的
typically we
生命到达
die
了终
because we
结。
sick, because you're old. Okay? But at
我们死去
the
的原因
end,
呢
at that
有
time,
多种，
at
有
the
是
end of the
老
world,
或
when
者
the
是病
world
死。
collapses and
在世界
disappears,
崩溃
that's
世
the
界
time
结束
when
的时候
all
呢，
those beings die
世界毁
supposed to
灭的
die.
时候呢，
The Buddha don't
所
have to
有
kill
这
them.
些众
Okay?
生呢
What the
都会
Buddha
死掉，
does
并不
is
是
that
佛
he
杀他们。
does a few things. He says the people who are not
佛
supposed
做
to
了几
die,
样事情，
okay, meaning good
说那
people.
些不该
By the way, the evil people
死
will
去的
die.
人，也就是那
The
些
good
善
people
人，
will not die.
恶人呢是会死掉的。
Some of the good people are, for example, third stage
有些人
arhats
是这个出
who
国
live
罗
in the
汉，
heavens. They're not going to die. They'll be moved. They'll be moved to a different
他
world
们呢
temporarily.
会死，
So they,
他
for
们
if you
会
will, they will move to
在
Oh,
甚至
good
另
Lord.
外一个地方，
I
另
hate
外
to
一个
say
世
it.
界，
Florida.
比如说
Okay,
比如
they
说
move
佛罗
temporarily
里
to
达，
Florida, okay, or
他们
Korea,
暂时
something like
搬
that.
去佛罗里达，
Eventually, they,
或者
when
是
the new
韩
world
国。
is created, they move back to
然后
California again, where they
新的世
belong.
界建立好之后呢，
Okay?
他们就再回到他们原来所属的加利福尼亚，
Or Vietnam. I forgot. It could be
或者是
Vietnam
越
too.
南，它可能是原
I
来是
don't
属
know.
于
But the
越南。
point here is that, so temporarily, the people who are supposed to die will die, and many of them are supposed to die. Many are supposed, at that time, they're supposed to die, period. That's when their life
在
ends.
那个时候，
Okay?
原
And
本他们的
whereas
生命是
the
要结
other
束的，就
people
会死去。
who's not time for them to
还有一
die
些
yet,
其
they
他
move
人，
to a different
他
world
们死亡的时
temporarily,
间还没有
waiting
到，
for the new
他们
world,
就暂
that
时
world to be
会去
reformed,
另外一个不同的世界，
regenerated, Genesis
去
again.
等待
Okay?
这个
As the
这个世界的
Christian, the
重生。
Catholic likes to call it, we don't care. Call whatever you want. It's going to be regenerated.
这
Okay?
个是
And then we
用
move
这
back.
个 天主教和基督教的术语可以这样说。
better accommodations.
这个新的世界建立好了之后呢，也许他们是可以提供
There's
更
two
好的
questions on YouTube.
这个容纳的
One,
条件的。
Diego asks, Master, after the Saha world is destroyed, will Shakyamuni Buddha create another world?
Yes.
Second question from Daniel. So third state arhats and beyond are somewhat immortal?
No, they're not supposed to die yet. That's why they're not immortal. They will die eventually too. But
这些还
they're
不死去的人，
at
是
the end of the
说他
world,
们是
okay,
永远
when
不会
this
死吗？
Saha
回
world
答
is
是不，
created, it
只
will
是
be
他们
destroyed. So
当时
that
还不
then,
会死
since
去。
they're not supposed to die, they'll be moved. The Buddha's power will move them to a different world temporarily. And he didn't disclose which world, so we cannot buy real estate there.
当
Okay?
娑婆世界重新
So
建设
we，don't know. So it's a top secret, state secret. So we move to a different world, and then this world will be destroyed. Okay? And then go through regeneration process.
娑婆世
That's
界
all.
毁灭
And
的时
then
候呢，
after it's ready, and then they move back.
那些还不该死的人就会暂时去到一个别的地方，然后这个
Alright.
世界重生之后，他们
So,
再回来。
so the Buddha doesn't have to kill people. He's just supposed to die. That's all.
所以
Okay,
呢，
Shin
佛
Kong.
是不杀
The
人
farting
的。
is not
这
is
些
getting any
有些人
better.
是到了死的时候，闲空你的这个排气有什么改
I'm
善吗？
looking as she's deciding to on the proper answer. You know the COVID Omicron now. Omicron thing is
我
pretty
在等
bad
待
right
他呢，
now,
我
and
在
I
看
think it's
看着他是不是能
overtaking
有一个
the Delta variant.
合适的回
Apparently,
答
they expect
你
to
们
take
知道有
over,
一个新的
and it's spreading very quickly
病
right
毒
now.
变
It's
株
very
吗
scary, and
Omicron
I share your concern.
变异
Okay?
植株，
And
它有可能能够取代
it seems like this thing
Delta
is
病
taking
毒。
forever. Okay, and
看起来这场
it's
疫情还
unfortunate.
要
I wish the
持续
people
下
would
去，
learn Chan and we
这
don't
是
have
非
to go
常
through
不
all
幸的。
this thing here. Okay,
我希望大家都能够来
but
习禅，
anyway,
就
it's
不必
nothing we
经
can
历
do. It's called
这些苦难了。
common retribution,
但是呢，
where
我们
this virus here
所能
is
做的
here
很少，
because of how
这个叫做
common
共业。
karmas we're supposed to suffer
病毒
together. Okay,
来
I
到我们这
suffer
个世
too,
界上呢
even though
是因为
it
我
doesn't
们
affect us as much.
有一
But we
些
suffer
共同的
too
业，我们要
indirectly.
一起来承
We
受
may。not be sick, we may
们
not have to go to the ICU
虽然
and
我
so
们没有
forth,
生病，
but the fact that so many
不需要去
people
ICU
are suffering, are getting hurt,
但是
getting infected, and
有
dying,
很多人在
that
承受苦
creates
难
a，fear
很多人感染，很
and
多人去
the
世，
panic
这
on,
带来了一
on
种
the
恐
entire
惧，
world.
一
Okay?
种恐
And
慌
that's，the most
在全世
damaging
界
part
弥漫着。
about this virus.
这
It's
是
not that it's
这
that
场
as
疫
deadly, for
情这个
example,
病毒
as
所带来的
cancer
最
and
大
so
的破
forth.
坏。
Okay, but it is a lot more dangerous in the sense that it
它并不像
instills
癌症那
fear
样有
and
破坏力，
panic in
但
all of
是
you in particular, and also
它给
makes
大家带来了
these
恐
mental
慌、
illnesses
恐
become
惧，
more prevalent. You know, like people have more
而且也使得
mental
这个心理
issues
疾
than
病
before.
更加
Okay, so it's worrisome.
广泛，
But anyway, so I share with all of you that
令人担
those
忧。
concerns, and in a very small way,
所以我
okay,
想跟大家
I'd
分
like to
享一下
remind
我
you
的
that
这
when
种
you
关
come to
注，我
our
的
way
担忧。
places, it's my personal
我想提
commitment to
醒大
you
家，
that
当你们来到我们
the
的道场
COVID-19
的时候呢，我个人
will not
向大
get
家
you in
承
trouble
诺，
unless it's
新
your
冠
pre-existing
不会给你们
conditions.
带来麻
There's not
烦，
much I can do. Okay, but
除非是你
we'll
们有
not,
预先
we'll
存
give
在
you
的一
enough
些症状。
protections. You don't have to worry about getting infected and getting in trouble. Okay.
我们会给大家提供
Alright.
保护，大家不用担心自
So
己
if you come
陷
to
入
our
麻
way
烦。
places and you go back and you find that you
如
have
果
some,
你们
some
来到我们的
symptoms
道
of
场，
COVID-19,
回
so
去
and
之
so
后发
forth,
现自己有
please
一
feel
些
free to contact us.
新冠
We
疫
will
情的
try to
症
help
状
you.
症状，
Okay.
请和
So
我们
far,
联络，我
the
们会
last
帮
close
助
to
你
3
们。
years now, the people who come to our
在
way places,
过去近来的3年中呢，
they
到我们道场来
are
的人们，
fine. They have no problems
他
whatsoever.
们都是好的，都没
Okay.
有问题。
So it's a small thing that we do for the community, so
这是
that
一
it's
个
safe harbor
我们
for
为
us.
社
We
区
have
所
nothing
做
to
的一
worry
个
about.
小小的贡献。
Yes, one.
希望大家都不要有担心。
Mr. Catholic Daniel asked,
提
when
问
you say bad
天主
people
教
will
徒
die,
Daniel
is that
问
discrimination?
你说
It
有
is
些
and it
人
isn't.
会死，有些人不
Is
死，这是不是分别
discrimination
心？
to you?
回答
I'm
是，这是
discriminating.
分别。
It isn't because I'm not
对于你
discriminating.
呢？
There's something called bad people and good people.
你和我们不同，我是有分别
All
的，但
right.
是我并不去分别
Okay.
好人
So
坏
you
人。
have the worlds are created by Buddhas
所
in
以呢，
order
我们看
to
到
teach and
这个佛
transform
土
living
是被
beings.
佛
But
建立起
however,
来的，用
the
来
Buddhas
教
have
化
two
众生。
choices when they create
但是佛呢有
these
两个
worlds.
选
They
择，
can create an impure
在他
world or they create a pure world. Okay,
建设
so
这
that's
个
why I'm here.
佛土的时候呢，
It
它
says
可以
here,
建设一个净土，可以建设一
this
个
slide
不
here,
净土，就是秽土。
116 here, that the sutra is spoken in impure land called
所以
Saha.
这张幻灯上
So our
写
land
着这个
is
佛是
created
在
by
这个
Shakyamuni
秽土。
Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha, when he
所
became a
讲的
Buddha, he says,
我们的
well,
娑
let me
婆世
see.
界是由释迦
I
牟
can
尼
have a
佛
pure land, an impure land. What
建立的。
what do I want to
释
do?
迦牟尼
So
佛
what he
说
did,：“
我可以
he
建
says,
设净土，
for
我
all
可
the
以建
people I
设
owe,
不净土。我呢，我要怎样呢？
the best environment for them would be an impure land.
对于所有这些和我有缘的人来说，
That's one
一
way
个
to
最好的
think of
环
it.
境就是一
Why
个不
Buddha
净土，就
created
是
an
秽土。
impure land? Because he
我
says
们可以从
it's
这个
ideal
角度
place
来
for all
看，
these people.
为什么佛建
Okay?
设了一个
Or sometimes
秽
they
土
say,？
他觉
you
得
know,
这
I
对
do
所
an
有人来
impure
说
land
是一个理想的
because
环境。
then people who come here can
我建设一个这
improve
样
a
的
lot faster
秽土，
than otherwise.
到这里来的人们呢，可以取
So
得很
those
快
are
的
the
进
two
步。
major reasons why you choose to have an impure land.
所以这是两个主要的原因，使得释
Okay?
迦牟尼佛选
Whereas
择建立
Amitabha
了一
Buddha,
个
when he became a Buddha, he
秽土。
says, even
阿
before
弥
he
陀
became a
佛
Buddha, he
在
says,
成佛
I
的时候，
want to create the
在他
best
成
place
佛之
possible
前，
where people feel
他就已经
safe
说了，我要
and
建
they
设一个
feel
最好的地方，
that
让大家觉得安全。
because the people who come here, they want a guarantee
到我这里来
that
的人呢，
they
他
will
们
become a Buddha.
可以得到一个
They
保
have
证，
no more
他
regression.
们一定会成为佛，
So
不会
that's
再
why
退
he
转。
created a world called the Western Bliss
所
Pure
以
Land,
他
where
建立了一
people
个
get
西
there
方净
and
土
they
极乐世界。
are free from suffering, they're free from
人
pain.
们到西方世界、极乐世界之后呢，
Hunger
就不再有
Fasting
苦
Dharma
难，不
doesn't
再有
exist there, by
疼
the
痛
way.，
不再有饥饿。在那里
You
呢，就
can
没
you
有
go
这
to
个
Western Bliss
断
Pure
食
Land,
的法
you
了。
come to Amitabha Buddha and ask, Master,
当
I
你
came
到
from
了
Wei
这
Mountain
个西
Temple,
方极乐世
and I
界，
love the
你
fasting
可
Dharma
以
there. Can
问
I
阿弥
fast
陀
for 9
佛
days?
师傅，
Amitabha
我
say
是
what?
从维山寺来的，我非常喜欢
Go
断食，我
back
可
to
不可以
Saha
断
world.
食19
We don't
天？
do that here.
阿弥
Okay?
陀佛说
So that's：“ what
你说什
happens.
么？你回你的娑婆世界
So
吧。在
in
这
a
里我们
Western
不做
Bliss
断
Pure
食。
Land, there's no such a thing as fasting because
所
you're
以
not
在
supposed to
西方极
suffer.
乐世界呢，那里没有断
It's
食，因为
fantastic.
在那里呢，你不会
You
有
don't
苦
hate
难，
anyone
你也不会
anymore.
憎恨任何
No
人
one.，
你不会再有
Okay.
憎恨的感情了。”
Yes, go ahead too.
二，
Thank you, Master. Maybe it's because I'm so used to the Saha world that seems really
谢谢师
confusing.
傅，我非常习惯于娑婆世
See,
界，
confusing? What is confusing?
That
所以我仍然是有
because
这
the
个迷
purpose of
惑。
going to the Pure Land is to become a
问师傅
Buddha.
问是
Yes.
你的迷惑是什么？
In
他
one lifetime.
回
His
答
Pure
说
Land, you become a Buddha in one
去西
lifetime.
方
That's it.
极乐世界的目的就是要
Guaranteed.
成佛。师傅说对，在一生中就成佛
And you're saying you don't have to
这是
suffer to do
有
it?
保证的。
You don't have to
提问的
suffer.
人问是的，你成佛，而
It's
且不需
confusing
要
to you?
Yeah.
经
You
历
love
痛
suffering?
苦。
No.
师傅说是的，这对于你
Then
来
the
说迷
Western
惑
Bliss
吗？
Pure Land is for you. Precisely.
你热爱
But it's
痛苦吗？
so
他的回
that
答是
that
不
part。is so counterpoint
师
to
傅
what
说，
we
那么西方
experience
极
in this
乐极乐
world.
世界
That's
对
why
你
it's
来
called
说是
Pure Land.
理想的了。
Impure Land is a land where you have a
提
lot
问
of
的问题
suffering.
是，提
That's
问的
why
人
it's
说，
called
那就和
impure.
我们这儿是
Because
相反的
it's
了。
impure because we have these bad thoughts of greed,
师傅
thoughts
的
of
回答
anger,
是，
thoughts of
我们在
stupidity.
这里呢是
That's
秽
why they
土，
call bad
因为
thoughts.
这
And
里
these
有
bad thoughts
坏的
create
念
suffering.
头，
The
有
suffering
贪
is
嗔痴，
self-imposed.
这些 坏的念头呢，
They're
给
not
你
from
带来了
someone
痛
else, it's
苦。
from us. We create our own suffering.
它不来自于别
We
人，
ask
你的
for it.
痛苦不来自于别人，我们自己为自己创造了痛苦。
If I'm able to get to the Western Bliss
提问的
Pure
人
Land,
说
which is my intention. When I cross my legs
那么
there,
我就
I
愿意
won't
去西
suffer.
方极乐。
No, absolutely, no
世界。
pain whatsoever.
也就是在那里，如果我打坐的话，我不
Now
会
he
感
wants
觉
to go
痛
to
苦了。
Western Bliss Pure Land.
师
What
傅
a
说
whim.
是的，那么你打坐不会疼了，你愿意去西方极乐
When
世
my
界吗？
wife also gets there,
问是，
Then it's
如果我的
suffering.
太太也去那儿的话，师傅说，那你的痛苦又开始了。
For her.
这个痛苦
herein
是
lies
她的
the
痛苦。
paradox. So, but really to me it seems,
提
I
问
don't
的
know,
人
like
说
the，reason I cross my legs is because it's hard and I can't do it. That's
对
my
我来
competitive
说呢，
spirit, which just feels a little bit like
Absolutely. That's a difference between
盘
the
腿是很
Thailand
疼的，只是因为
and
我
the
有这个
Western
竞
Bliss
争的
Pure
意
Land.
识，我才愿意做
The
下去。
Thailand is that
师傅说，
we
我们的
suffer
娑婆世
here.
界，
But what happens? It's called
我
Thailand
们有
because
很多的
we
痛
can
苦。
endure it.
娑婆是因为叫这两个名，这个娑婆世界的名字是因为我们能够
That's why we
忍
here.
受痛苦，我们有
Okay.
忍受痛
The
苦的能力，
Western
所以我们
Western
在
Bliss Pure
存在于
Land
娑
is
婆
that
世界。
those beings there, they cannot
在西
endure
方
it.
极乐世界呢，
They're
这个
wimps.
这个清净的地方，那些人他们没有忍
They big shots
忍
too,
受的
but they
能力，
will. I mean, you know what I mean? You don't want to
他们
offend
忍
these
受的
people,
能力非
okay?
常
The
弱。
last thing I want to do is offend the future Buddhas, okay? When they become Buddhists, oh, look at
那些
that
大
big
咖
mouth
们也
guy.
是这样，
Let's let him have it, you know?
我们不能够冒犯这些人。
It's a different kind of environment. That's, I'm glad
西
you
方
asked
极乐
this
世界
question.
呢是
This
一个
is
完全
why
不同的
there's a
环境。
distinction between
我
Pure
很高
Land
兴你
and
问了这
Impure
样一个
Land.
问题：
Okay? In the impure land,
净土
it's
和
full
秽
of
土是
suffering.
有区别的。
Okay?
在这个
And
不
because
净
of
土就是
suffering,
秽土中呢，
okay,
充满了
then if
苦
you
难
can endure
和
it,
痛
you
苦。
can progress a lot
如果
quicker.
你能够承受和忍耐这
High
些痛
risk,
苦，你就
high
可以
return.
很快的
In other
进
words,
步。
high
也就是说，
suffering,
高风险高回报。
high
换句话
return.
说，就是高
Yes, one.
强度的痛苦，就会有
Diego
更高的
asked
回报。
Master, so the thought
第一个
of
问
greed, anger, and stupidity
有一个问
comes
题
with
是，
the being born inside a world packed.
Yes,
也
absolutely.
就是说，我们
Look
有
at
贪
yourself.
嗔痴，这是和我们
And then in
出
the
生
Pure
在
Land,
娑
it's
婆世
totally
界相
different.
连
In the
的。
Pure Land, you have no thoughts of
师傅
greed,
的回答是
no
的，
thoughts of anger,
在这个
no thoughts of
净土
stupidity.
中呢，你没有任何
Okay?
的贪
So
嗔痴的念
life
头，
is smooth sailing.
所以呢，
You,
在那
it's
里的
like
生
you're
活
being
呢是非常
pushed by the
流
wind,
畅顺畅的，
and you get there
就好像你被风
in
推着
time.
一样，
Okay?
一切都会
Because
非
the
常
Buddha,
及时
not only
顺
are
利。
you being pushed, but the Buddha also guides you as well. So he shields you from
与此同时呢，你
all
还有
the
佛的指导，
Yes. Okay? Everything is wonderful, so that you simply
所以
follow along.
不再有混乱，每一件事情都非常顺
That's
利
why,
非
that's why
常
you
的完
naturally
美。
will get there.
你只要跟随
However,
就行
our
了。
world is totally different.
但是在
Our
我们的
world
娑
is
婆世
that
界完全不一样。
the only
我们的
way
世
for
界
us to
中，
get there is through
我们唯
enduring
一
suffering.
能够成功的办法，
That's the
就是要
best way,
承
that's
受
the fastest way
苦难，
possible,
承
is
受
to
痛
endure suffering.
痛苦，
Because that
这
suffering
是最
there,
快的办法。
enduring the greed, the anger, stupidity, your own,
因为我们
and
忍耐我们自己的贪嗔痴，还有
Okay.
忍耐我们
So-
自己的忍耐
so
这个，
everyone is full
小
of
妾的
greed, anger,
贪
and
嗔痴。
stupidity. So we are actually
因为每一个
messing
人
each
都
other
是充满了贪嗔痴，我们呢都相互的
So that's why not only are we suffering from our own
混杂在一
needs,
起
but，also from
我们
the
不仅
others as
仅
well. That's the nature of
忍
this
受
world.
自
That's
己
why it's
的
overwhelming.
所做
We're
所带来的
overwhelmed by
贪
our
嗔痴，也要
own
忍受他
suffering
人的，
and also by our own mother's suffering.
我们要忍受。
Because you know when mother is
我们的妈
unhappy,
妈
what
的痛
happens?
苦。
The whole family is
当我们的
unhappy.
妈妈不开心的时候，会怎么样呢？全家
The
都不
whole
开心
temple is unhappy. You know what I mean?
啊，整个寺
Okay,
庙
no
都
one
不
is
开心
spared.，Okay?
没有人
So-
能够置身
so-
事外。
The suffering is a nature in impure land.
所
And
以
that's why,
娑婆世界
that's
的
why
性质就
the
是
Buddha came and he
苦
said,
难。
I created this world of suffering so that I
所
can
以
teach
佛
you
说，
how to
我
use the
建
suffering
立了一
in
个这样
order
的
to
充满
become
苦
a
难的
Buddha
世界。
faster. Look
用这个办法来教你们能够更快的成佛。
Several years, very fast. Okay? Whereas you go to the Pure Land, it would take you a lot longer to become a Buddha.
他成佛呢？
That's why you have to choose which one.
也是经历了很多的苦难。
So that's why, in all truth, in all honesty,
如果你去 西方极乐世界的话，
clear cut about you go to the Pure Land and you don't ever come back to the impure land. It's not true. You use both.
你要花更长的时间才能够成
The
佛。
world like that. For example, let me explain to you why both. Okay. First of all, also I want to share with you this news as well. One of our people here who never showed up in our temple, who never talked to me and so forth, just listened to everything on video or whatever, never called, talked to me at all. And he decided his mother was passed away, and he was in great pain for many years, and he says, what can I do for her? And he says, he listened to our Pure Land Dharma talks, and he says, sounds like a good place for her to go. So he decided to get our help to bring her to the Pure Land. Okay? And so, after 49 days, the service, she made it to the Pure Land. Okay? And he says, so he emailed us and he says, for the last 49 days, I heard about the talk. I said, I'm supposed to create blessings to help her go to the Pure Land. So I have not been eating meat. I've been having a good life and trying to control my evil urges. Okay, so what else can I do? It's nearing the end. What else can I do to help her get there? So I emailed back through Master Xianjie,
我最近是
and I said, he's
收到了
in
一
the
个
Pure Land.
邮件，有一个人
So
说，
I didn't even know what he was doing. He says, she's in the Pure Land. So he said, wow, this is the greatest news I've heard for many years.
我的
This
人
is
生即将
fantastic.
结束，
And the
我如何能够
fantastic
获得
thing I
帮
want
助
to？ share with him, I don't know, ever guess his ears or not. Okay, and don't email him because we're done. What's fascinating is I look at that, and when I look at the email, I say, well, wow, look, the mother.
我仔细
I
地
don't
看了
know if
这
she
个
ever got a
邮
chance
件里
to
的内
send a
容，
message back to him if
他
she's
讲到了
okay,
他的母
if she's
亲。
doing well. But I look at her and say, wow, she's in the Pure Land. She's full of love
他
and
希望能
gratitude
够
for her son.
为母亲获得帮助。后来呢，这个就是他的母亲即将
There,
结
there,
束人
control
生，
yourself.
不久人世，所以他为母亲寻求帮助。
My
后来
point
我们
being that
接受了他的请求。
we're still connected.
现在呢，
care for
我能够
us.
观察到他
You
的
know, they
母
get
亲呢，
there and say, he said, no, I
已经
get
在
here
西方极
and
乐
then
世界了。
forget about you. Okay, goodbye. I'm fine now. I'm
而
happy.
且我也看
And
到
goodbye,
他的
husband. I
妈
don't
妈
care for you anymore.
在西
I'm
方
going to
极乐
find
世
new
界
husband, new,
仍然非
new
常的
king and
在
so
意
forth. No.
他的家人、
You know what I mean?
他的儿子，
Pure Land people are not
非
like
常
that.
关心。
Okay? They get there and say, oh,
到
wow.
了西方极乐世界的这些
My
人，
son.
他们
I
仍
got
然
here because of my
关
son's
心他
love
们
for
原来的
me.
家人。
Oh
他的
my
妈妈
God.
想，我能
What a
够到
special
西
son
方
I
极乐世
have.
界，是因为我的儿子出于他的
He
爱
saves
心为我寻求了帮
from
助，
further suffering.
他
And she's
救了
so
我，
grateful, and her heart is full of love for him.
所以这位母亲
It's so
非常
touching
感
to me.
激儿子，而且
And
这位母
it
亲
makes you feel good.
非常在
one of
西方
the
极乐世界
rare
仍然
moments
爱着他的
of
儿
the
子。
month where, no, not the month. It sounds wrong.
这一点让我极为
Anyway
感动。
My point here is this. You look at that story, that woman there, the lady there got there and say,
我
okay,
看了这样的一个故
I
事，
owe to my son.
这位
Okay?
女
I
士
owe his love.
知
You know
道
what's going to happen?
她
She's going to come back and try
之
save
所以
him
能到西方极乐
whenever
世
she
界，
can, as
是
soon
因
as
为
she
她的
can.
儿子的
Think
爱，
about
出于
it.
爱，
So
所
we
以呢，她
still
也
have
愿意
connections here.
要
It's
来
not like you
帮
go
助
and
别
you go
人、拯救
forever.
别人。
So my
我
point
们
is
仍
that
然是
people
连
go
在
back
一
and
起的。
forth. It's not the end of it.
所以西方
That's
极乐
why
世界的人和我们
sometimes
呢
you，go to the
我
Pure
们
Land
他
so
们是
that
会来
when you
再
are
走，
ready, the
来
Buddha
来
says,
往
okay,
往。
you're ready and your son is ready. Let's send you back and take care
在
of your
西
son.
方西方极乐世界的佛会说啊，你已经准备好了，你的儿子也准备好了，
You know what I
我
mean?
把你送回去，你去帮助
Because
他
if。you leave it to her like that, she'll keep on suffering. Well, the way she's been this way is not going to change. So you better come back and save her. Okay, so the connection is still there. So so
我们之间的联系
at
仍
some
然
point
在
in，time in your career,
仍然
you
存
want to
在。
go to the Pure Land, and I recommend you go to the Pure
在
Land.
你们的
All of you, go to there first.
你们修行的某个阶段，你们是会去
Go
到
there, do not
极乐世
hesitate.
界的。
And then
我给你们的建议是，你们要
Amitabha
毫
Buddha
不
will
犹豫的
decide for you.
去
You don't
去西
decide
方
for
极乐世
yourself, you
界。
idiots.
阿弥陀佛
You
会替你们
bunch
做
of
决
idiots. You
定。
don't know what you're doing.
你们
Don't
都
trust
愚痴
yourself.，
你们不需要
Trust the
信任
Buddha.
自己，可
Buddha
以信
says,
任佛。
you ready.
佛说
Now your
你
husband,
们
your
做好准
ex-husband
备
now
了。
is
现在呢，
a king.
你
You
原来
can
的
go back
丈
and be the
夫
concubine.
是个国王，
The kind of thing. And then
你
you
可以
talk
回
him
去
to
成为
go
他
to
的
the
小
temple.
妾，
Okay? And then
然后让
train
他
to
去
the
寺
Buddha
庙
and
修
eventually
行，
go to the Pure Land with you. Okay? So that's how it works.
向佛
You-
祈祷，最终你们两
when
个
the
人再
time
回
is
到
right, you're there.
再
When
来
the
西
time
方
is
极乐
right,
世
when
界。
safe for you,
所以时
it's
机
ideal for your
到了，
connection
时机到
to
了
be
的时
saved,
候，
you'll be sent back to save them.
当你的
Then you come back to
以
the
前
Pure
的
Land again.
有联系的这些
So it's
亲
back
人，
and forth,
他们达到了一
back
个理
and
想的
forth.
状态的时候，
So do not burn bridges. You understand? You have to be nice to everyone. Because next time you come back, the one you hate could become your king. And instead of loving you, he will punish you. Okay, so that's the interplay between Pure Land and Impure Land. You see that? So they're both important. Okay? But again, go to Pure Land first. Okay? Don't stay here. It's too dangerous here. Because it's a very delicate thing here. Being in the Impure Land,
在
it's
这里
very
呢，
delicate. You do it wrong, and most of us do
一
it
切都
wrong.
非常微妙。
That's
如
why
果
it's
你做
called
错
impure
了，
land. You cannot depend on
而
yourself.
且大部分的人
That's
是
why
容易
it's
做错
impure.
事儿的
You are，
你不
impure.
能够完全
You
不能
depend
依
on an
靠自
impure
己。
person? Come on, wake up.
在这个
Okay,
不
that's
净
why you
土，
go
在
to
这
the
个
Pure
秽
Land
土，
first.
你不
And
能
let
够
the
依
Buddha
赖
help
一
us.
个不亲近的人，所以要
That's
先去西方极乐世界，
The
让
two types of
阿
pure
弥陀佛
of
帮助我
worlds.
们。
Pure land and impure land. That's how you need to
这两类
understand
不同的世界，
how you use them
净土和秽土，
accordingly.
你
Okay?
要充分的
don't
理
burn
解，这样
bridges.
才能够
Okay?
在你的
Don't say I'm going to go Pure
修
land
行
and
生
it's
涯
right
中
time. I don't
利
care.
用它
You
们
know.。
你不要说，我只要
Alright.
去净土，其他的
Alright.
我都不在意。好吗？
17.
第
Others say
17
the
张
place of
幻灯，
speaking was a Pure Land because it was in a flower treasury.
有云：处净度说，在华藏故。
And so you look at a macro scale is the sutra is spoken in the flower treasury anyway. Therefore, it's a Pure Land. Okay?
所以
sometimes
这个
intellectual
经呢也在
discussion,
华
and
藏
that's
故，
how-
在华藏
how
说
the-
过
the，great
这是一个
master
净
is-
度。
he's fantastic. 19. Still others speak the doctrine
天亮
of
大师非
true
常了不起
suchness and say the two kinds of lands have no fixed differences of place. 4. In one place there are differences of seeing and hearing.
有云：如实义者，二种生度无定异处，即于一处，见闻异故。
19. It says, this Flower Adornment Sutra here talks about true suchness. Okay?
华严经所谈的是
This
实
is
义，
the
如实
universe
义
called
者。
true suchness, the state of Buddhahood.
我们的宇
Okay?
宙呢叫
A state of the entire
如实
Dharma
义
realm. Okay?
这种佛
And
的境
therefore,
界，
therefore,
整个法界的境界。
because it's spoken in this entire universe, and therefore you should not distinguish between
因
pure
为这
land
部
versus
这部
impure
经
land.
是在整个宇宙中所讲的，所以不需要分别净度和非和
And
不净
the
度、秽
difference
度。
is how people see it.
区别在于人们是怎么看的。
So meaning that there's either you see it spoken in the Pure Land or spoken in Pure Land because people
有的人是看到他是在净土讲的，有人是看到他在慧度讲的。
without any important consequences. It's just intellectual.
学术界呢对此有一些讨论，但是它是属于学术的范畴，并不重要。
上知三义，后依净宗。
So it says, stop discriminating whether Pure Land, Impure Land, and so forth. Okay.
在这里呢，不需要去分别净土和慧度。
In a land, okay.
因为它是在
you look at the big picture. There's no differentiation between Pure Land versus Impure Land.
如果我们看整体的话，就不需要去分别净土和慧度，因为净土和慧度它都是以一种方便。
Is to help you become Buddhas. Okay.
对于整体来说，对于整体帮助你成佛来说，这是一种方便的
but actually, eventually, you'll be moved back to the Impure Land temporarily in order to save the people you want to save. And once you're done, you
即便是你去到了净土，你到了净土，你也需要去暂时回到慧度来帮助大家。
Because you are still cultivating, you're still on the way to become a Buddha, regardless. Does it make sense? That's a big picture. Yes, one.
Derek Chin asked, Master, how can I get rid of
不需
my
要去分
hatred
别。
in the Saha
有一个
world?
问题是，
Your hatred in the Saha world, hate some more until you have no more
我如
hatred
何
in
能
your
够
heart.
去除我在娑婆世
I'm
界
a
的这个
person
憎恨之
who
情？
advocates in
回
you
答
should
是，
be
你
true
需要
to
更
your
多的憎恨。
animalistic instincts. You want to kill, go kill.
你应该真实的对待自己的这个动物本性，
Kill bad people.
动物的
No.
本能，可以释
I
放
don't
自己的
know.
这种
How
本
can
能。
you get rid of
我并不知道，
the
我不知
anger?
道
I don't know.
如何去
What do you
除
think?
怒火
What the Buddhists like to do?
和憎恨。
I don't know about the rest of you. What the Buddhists like to do
佛教徒要怎么
and
做
John
呢？
might
我不知道
disagree with it,
其他的人是
is
怎
to
么样的。
meditate. When you meditate, you
佛教徒呢是要用这个
anger.
冥想打
That
坐
woman there used to be very angry.
来熄灭、减缓自己的怒
the
火。
chef in the back there, who sits in the back of the bus. Okay, she used to be very angry.
坐在后面的
Look
这
at her
位，
now.
他曾经呢是非常爱发脾气的。
And eventually, Yipche will be like that too. When she gets there, Yipche will say, "Anger? What is anger?"
Ipche 可能也会是同样的，等他到了
Okay.
那个程度的时候，也会是同样爱发脾气的。
Everyone loves my kimchi. So,
每个人都喜欢吃我的泡菜，
okay. So the anger, there are many ways to deal with anger in Buddhism. The practical way
怒火、
is
愤怒
very, very simple.
在佛教中呢有很多的办法来处理它。
You
一个比较
cross your
简单
legs.
的方法
The
是
longer you cross your legs,
盘起腿
the
来，
less angry you become
冥想
naturally. That's the one thing that works.
你
for a lot of
你这个冥想的时间越长，
Sometimes they
越不
work
容易
because some of them got angry at me for telling
发
them to
怒。
cross their legs. To dare tell them to cross their legs and inflict pain and suffering upon them. So it
有
doesn't
些
work.
人呢
But
会
when I
因为
disappear,
我
it
向
seems
大
to
家
work.
建议
Okay. So
打坐
yes,
的时
the
候，而
meditation helps.
表示生气，
And
因为疼。
also,
但我走了之后呢，他们
when
就不生气了。
when you
所以冥想会有
meditate
帮助。
even more, or when you
当你冥想的更多了，
are more emancipated, more
或者是
well,
可以
less
说
for yourself, then you
你的自
develop
我
compassion.
不那么强烈了。
Compassion is
当你
the
升起了慈悲
antidote
心，
to anger.
慈悲心呢是
Instead of having
怒火
anger,
的抗体。
directing your anger towards someone because someone is making you unhappy.
如果有人让你不开
Stopping
心，
you
使
from
你
getting what you
不
want,
开心，
not giving you what you want,
使
that's
你
why
没有
you're
得
angry.
到
Okay,
你想得到的东西，因此你会生气。
that
在这个时候，你要意识到，
that person is suffering.
这个人呢自己也在承受痛苦。
And you don't need to add more to their suffering. You're getting
你不需要
angry
再
with
增
them
加他
will
的
not help them.
痛苦了。
Actually, it will make it worse
你
for
向他
them.
发脾气，
So that's why
对他没有任何
you
帮助，
begin to
会
develop
使
this
情况
mind
更
of
坏。
compassion.
所以呢，你就
Okay?
升起一
You
种
look
开
at
始
from
升
the
起一
proper
种
perspective,
慈
then
悲心，
compassion arises.
可以
When you
以
look at from a wrong side,
这样的
then
角度来看，
anger
就会
is
升起
fuel.
慈悲心。
That's all. That's the
但
difference.
是
The
如
only
果你从
difference
另
is
外
that
一
you
个
look
角
at it
度
from the wrong
看，
perspective. That's
就
all.
会升
So
起怒
anger
火。
actually,
因此，
overall, ultimately, anger is very conducive to your
说到
developing
底，
your wisdom. Because you look, instead of angry, you look from the other side and you see that, wow,
怒火呢，它
he's behaving
这
this
种
way.
发怒的这个愿望会让你生气，一
She's
种
suffering so much, that's why she's so angry.
慈悲。从一个正确的
And that's
角度
why
来
you say,
看问题
well, how，can
你
I
会看到
punish
这个
someone
人
who's suffering so much
他已经
already?
在，
They have
他
to
已
have
经
some
有苦难
compassion,
了，我
embrace
为
the
什么还
suffering.
要我为什么要去惩罚他呢？增加他的苦难呢？
Okay? So that's why, in general, in Buddhism, there are two major
所以
ways
整
to
体
deal
上
with
说，
anger
在佛
in
教
that
中
way.
有两
Okay?
个主要
Brute
的
force
办
way
法，
is to meditate
一个
and endure
一个比较
the
蛮力
pain
的
in
办法
particular.
就是
Okay? When
冥
you
想，
endure the leg
用
pains,
承受
the
腿
way we
疼的办
train you,
法
it's a
来
much
训
quicker
练自
way
己，
to undo your
这是
anger
一种
than otherwise.
较
I
快
noticed
的
that.
减弱
The
怒火的
people
方式。
who
我注意
are
到，
glutton for punishment, they are not afraid to endure the leg pains, the anger die down so
有些
quickly
人他们不
compared
怕
to
腿
the
痛
others，who
那
are
么
not as gung-ho
去
about
打
it.
坐，
I've
他
been
们的这
witnessing
个
this for 15
怒
years
火
now.
熄灭的就比较快。
So,
过去
so
15
at your
年
own
中，我
pace,
都
you go
看到很
slow,
多
your
这样的
anger will
例子。
slowly die down. You go fast,
所以大家
then
可以
your
选择
anger
自
dies
己
down
的
a lot
这
faster.
个节奏
Okay.。
如果
And then we get to the point
你
where eventually you'll be taught about compassion. Okay.
密集的训练，可以
All
比较
right.
快的熄
Any
灭怒
other
火。
questions?
另外一个方法就是慈悲心。还有其他问题吗？
And actually it works. It works because I heard of a mother is telling me recently, he says, and this
这是非常有效的办
lady
法。最
here
近
has
有一
been
个母
pushing
亲跟我
herself.
讲，
She's like,
我们在的这儿，我们在这儿的
Any
一位
sit is like so
女
much
士，
pain for her. Okay.
她
And for some reason, she keeps on
精
pushing the
进打
pain.
坐
And
忍
for
痛。
normal people, say, enough is enough.
对于
every
普通人
day.
来说，忍
And
痛
she
每
keeps
天
on
忍
pushing
痛
and
是
pushing
很
and
难、
pushing. And
很
in spite
很
of the
困难
fact
的。
I
但是她
we
每天都
claim,
忍痛打
like
坐。
Xin, when she teaches meditation, she says, don't worry, about an hour and a half, the pain will stop. And some of
田
them
信教
never
他打
stops.
坐，说不要担心1个半小时疼就会停止了，就不疼
And
了。
so,
但是有些人
so
到1个半小
but,
时的时候
but
也
for some
还是
people,
会疼。
they're not afraid. They keep on
对
pushing
于
and
有些
pushing.
人
They're
来
crazy.
说，他
And
们不
what
怕
happened
疼，
is
他
that I
们不断
observed
的
this. This is so interesting.
去
I
做，
observed is that
不断的去
okay,
忍。
these
我
people
观
who
察
push
到
themselves like that,
这些人
the anger dies down
鼓
so
励自
quickly.
己忍痛，
It's
他
incredible.
们的怒火
Quickly,
很快就消失了，
they get rid
非
of
常
the
快，
anger. Okay.
很快就不发脾气了，
They're willing to confront the pain, and they're not
因为他们愿意
denying
去
the
承
anger.
受
Some people,
痛苦。
the anger
承受
doesn't
疼
die
痛，
down because they say, I'm not angry. What are you talking about? I'm going to kill you.
因为
But
他
you
们
never know I'm
能
going to
够
kill you.
承认自己发火，而有些人
I'm
呢，
underhanded.
在
I'm,
发脾气的时
but
候
no one knows except me,
却不承认，说我并不生气。
master. But it's okay. Okay. So the recipe is again, I advise you to practice
所以我的
meditation
建
our
议是，
style. If the anger bothers you
大
so
家
much,
用我们的方
and
式来
embrace
练
the
习
anger
冥
and
想，
face the anger more and more.
拥抱你们
And
的
then
怒火，
yeah,
更多的面对
the
你们
pain,
的
I mean,
愤
face
怒
the，pain more and more. The anger dies
更
down.
多的面对你们的
And for
这个
example,
疼
this
痛、
lady here, the
腿疼，
kimchi lady
这
here,
样
she's
怒火
usually
就会
very
消失
angry.
了。
The first 2 years she came to
泡菜女
to
士
me,
呢，
I
曾经
saw
是
so much
很爱发
anger,
火
so
的
much。fire that I
在
wouldn't
她
dare
一
touch
开
her.
始
I
的
said, she's going to
2
bite my
年里
head
呢，我
off.
看到她很爱发火，我都不敢
But
碰她。
as she
我担心她会
persevered and face her training, go through the
攻击
training.
我，但是呢，
The
她
fire
一直
anger
坚
dies
持了
down
下
a
来
lot.。 So now she
一
only
直
picks
在
fight with certain people, not everyone.
训练自己，所以现在他只是对某些人发火，并对
Yes.
大家不发火了。
6.
6提问。
뭐지? 잠깐.
She forgot already.
질문.
Senility meditations are not going to help. Never mind.
他已经忘了自己要提什么问题了。
Look at Jewel Mountain Temple. I think they're ready for bed or something. Look at them.
看看宝山寺，我看他们是准备
and I think as soon as they be
要
done, they will lie
午
down
休了。
and do lying meditation. Look at them. They're ready already. Look at that. I mean, that's preparedness. I'm impressed. And the heater is right there, very warm and very, very cozy. You know it's very cold right there right now. Huh?
他们已经
All right.
准备好了，非常舒适的一个环
We're
境。
complaining it's cold here, but look at them, look at them.
知道吗？
They-
他们那
that
里
heater
很
is
冷。
all full blast.
看看他们的那个加热器已经全马力工作了。
All right, I mean. Okay, did you have to say something, huh?
你想说什么吗？
질문이었는데, 퀘스천이었는데요. 말씀하신 대로 저한테 화를 내고 부정적인 에너지를 쏘는 사람들한테서 이제 그들의 아픔이 보이긴 하는데, 저도 상태가 나쁠 때는 같이 좀 파이터가 돼가지고 마스터께서 말씀하시는 게 됐다 안 됐다 하는 게 지금의 제 상태인데, 지금의 제 수준에서는 무엇을 더 해야 자비로울 수 있는지, 그러니까 불이 났는데 더 기름을 붓지 않을 수 있는 게 무엇인지를 질문하고 싶습니다. 상욱스님 너무 어렵나요?
상욱스님 안 들립니다. We cannot hear you.
Oh, Sang-wook fell asleep.
We cannot hear you.
Try again. Okay.
Okay, I can hear you.
When I saw people, sometimes I saw the suffering in the people who got angry at me, but when I'm not in good
我
condition,
看到
I
有
also
些
want to
人呢，
fight
有
with
的时
them.
候看到有
So
些人
could you give me some advice
啊
to
向
me?
我
What
发
should
脾
I
气，
do to
我
be
愿
more
意
compassionate in my
跟他们
situation?
对抗。
Change what?
你能
I
不
see
能给我
nothing
提
wrong.
供一些
You
建议，让我
concubine,
改
you're
变
supposed
这
to
种
fight.
状况？师傅说我没有看到有什么不妥的。你是一个小
Be
妾，
yourself.
你是需要战斗的，你只要做你自己就
It's
好
very
了，
simple. When she fights with you, beat her up.
非常简单。当他和
She
你
will
打的
never
时候，
dare
你就打
fight you
他，
again.
정말요?
这样他就不再敢打你了，和你做战斗了。
하고 싶은 대로 해도 될까요?
Is it okay to be myself?
To what?
Is it okay to fight?
Is it
Yes, I
okay to
will.
是
fight?
可以和他们
Well, you
打架吗？
fight regardless of what I say. So
是
why
可
do
以
you
和
have to
他们
ask
斗
me?
争吗？师傅说，不管我说什么，你都会和他们和别人斗争。
Just don't fight. That's all. But you like to fight. You don't
那你
listen.
就
You
不
don't
要
like to
去
fight. So
和别
just
人
be
斗争
yourself.
了。可是呢，你又不听，你还是要和别人去争辩，是可以的。
Okay. Yeah. You
可以
too
的，没有关系。
self-centered. You should look at people suffering.
你
You
太
only look at your own.
你
You
过于
don't
自
look
我
at
中
other
心
people
了，
suffering.
你只
What
看到
makes
了
a
自己，
person
没有看
different
到
is to be able
其
to
他
see
人
other
的
people suffering.
正在承受痛苦。
Life is hard. Life has a lot of obstruction. It has a lot of problems.
生活呢
You
是很
suffer a lot.
艰
You
难
endure
的，
this
有很多
suffering,
的
all
障碍，
this
有很
suffering
多的
training
困难
is because
问
it
题。
helps you make a choice. You
你
don't
承
like
受
to
这
suffer
些苦难，它能够
when you
帮助
go through
你
this
去做
process.
选择。
And therefore, why would you want to make other people suffer? Is a lesson.
所以你就会想，
You don't
我
like to
为什么还要
suffer,
让别
then
人
others
承受
don't
痛
like it
苦呢？
either.
如果
And
我不喜欢
therefore,
这
if
些
you
痛苦，
understand
别人也
that,
不
then
喜
you
欢
should。
如果你理解了
avoid
这一点，
making other people suffer.
你就会去
It's
避
that
免
simple.
让别人
It's
给
it's
别
a
人增
moment
加
you
痛
need to
苦。
wake up and say, I hate this.
这是一
This
个
is so
你
much
需要
pain.
醒来的时
It
刻，
hurts
醒
so
悟的
much.
时刻。
Okay? And I would not
你要
want
想到，
this to
我
happen
不喜
to
欢痛
anyone
苦，
except my
我
husband.
也不希望别人，有痛苦啊。
Okay?
当然，除了
So
我
you
丈
said,
夫，
so that's one side of this training here.
这
That's
是
what happened to me.
我们
You
的
know,
训
I
练的
suffered
一个方
really so
面。
much. I was in great pain and everything. And
我
there's
曾
no
经
end
也
in
有过
sight.
很多的痛苦，
And I chose.
无
What
穷
do
无
I
尽的
choose?
痛
I
苦。
said, if I
所以我选了
get
什么
out
呢
of？ it, I survive this.
如果我
Then
能够
for what reason?
存活
If I
下来，
survive this
能够
process here and I become bitter
在这个
and
过程
angry
中
at the world
存活下
that no
来。
one cared for me, no one gives a
如果
damn
我
whether I die or live,
如此的
then why is the point me surviving?
绝望，如此的这个
Okay?
难受，而没有人
Then
在
if
意
I，live,
那
it's
么
for a
我
reason.
活着还
I
有
go
什么
through
意
this
义呢？
process for reasons in order for me
我活
to
着是有
rise
一个
above
原
it
因的。
and make sure that my suffering,
我经历了这
the
些的
people
训
don't suffer
练
as much as I do.
和修炼是有一个原因的。
That's the choice you have to decide for yourself. I'm teaching you that. I'm putting you through all this process so that you decide for yourself. It's so unpleasant. Why would you want to make anyone go through this? Because you yourself don't want it. That's why you forgive. Instead of making
你
other
希望
people suffer, you
别人
forgive
有
them
痛苦呢？如果
and suffer for them
我们可以
instead.
不让别人痛苦，我们可
That's
以
what makes you a special
去
person. But if
原
you're
谅他
like the rest of the world
这样我
and
们
say,
能够
no
成为一
one
个特
gives
别
a
的人。
damn about me,
而
and I have nothing, no one gives
如果
me
你想的是根本
anything,
没
no
有
one
人在意
gives me
我，
a hand in hand,
没有
lend
人
me a helping hand,
帮助，
and,
愿意
and,
帮助我，
and so
没有
forth.
人曾经给过我一
Okay?
点点
Then
援
you're just like them.
支援。你对
You
世
should
界
rise
充满着
above
苦涩，那么你就和
yourself,
别
you
人
pat
都一
yourself.
样了。所以
And
你要
say,
超出自
I
己，
go through
超
this
越自己的
process. I
这
survive
个
because I can
计
become
较
a
小
better
小得失
person,
的小
not
我，
because the same old person
要
as before. Because if I don't change,
希望成为一个更好的自己，
then I
而不
will
是自己的
continue
老
to
样
suffer
子。
the same way I
否
did
则的
before.
话，你还会继续的
In
像
order for
以
my
前一样
suffering to stop, I have to change.
有很多的苦难。为了停止自己的苦难，
Okay?
我要改变。
And the first change is for you to not
第
wish
一个改
this
变呢
of anyone else.
就是
Therefore, you must forgive
希
them
望别人
because they
不
didn't
要有
forgive
痛
you.
苦，这样
It's
呢，
okay. They're being
你
themselves
需要
because
去
they haven't suffered
原
yet.
谅别人。别
So
人不
when you
原谅你，
suffer
那
the
是因为
extreme
他
like
们
this,
的
then you
苦难还
decide,
不够。
you know,
当你承受了极端的苦
I
难、
can be a better
痛
person.
苦，你就会想，我可以成为一
So,
个更
so,
好
so
的人。
it's a moment of revelation where you
所以这是一个
transcend
醒悟
your
的、
petty
觉悟的
self.
时刻。你超越了计较得失的
And
小
that's
我，
how you become happier. If you don't
这样你
change,
就会
you continue to harbor the
更
hate,
加幸福、更
anger
加
in your
开
heart.
心。
You will continue to suffer.
如
You
果
will keep on going through
你
this
不
and
不
go
改
and
变，
this, but
你仍
next
然
time you
在内
fast, you're
心
gonna
有很多
suffer
的
again.
憎恶、
Next time you
怒
fast,
火
suffer。again. Until
那么
one
你下一
moment,
次
one
断
day
食
you
的时
wake
候，
up,
还是会有痛苦。
then you're free. But until
直
then,
到有一天你醒悟
fast
过来
longer,
了，才会自由。
suffer more.
但是在这之前呢，你要更长时间的断食，经历更多的痛苦，才能有这样的醒悟。
That's the difference between good
这
and
就
bad
是其
people.
中的不同，这就是好人和坏人之间的不
Good
同，
people
善人恶
see
人
their own suffering. That's why
圣人看到了自己的苦难，不希望别人去忍受他们所经历的同样的痛苦。好人并不是那些做慈善工作的人，做慈善是容易的，给别人衣服，给别人吃的，你可以做一次好事，然后你就忘了。善人呢是那些有勇气经历这些试炼，经历了痛苦，而意识到这些痛苦呢我不喜欢，也不希望别人和我一样经历同样的痛苦，因为这种痛苦太强烈了。我呢能够存活下来，经历这些痛苦而存活下来，而有些人呢不像我这么强大，他们也许就会消失，他们也许就会自杀，就会从世界上跑开来。我能够存活下来，是因为我更幸运，更强大。所以需要由我来做一些小小的事情，来用我自己的绵薄之力来减缓这个世界上的痛苦，这样我的生命才有意义。因为我一直在承受痛苦，我因为做了一个自私的自我，我这个自私的自我带来了痛苦，我需要改变，我需要在意其他人的痛苦，这样你能够成为一个更好的人，可以为这个世界带来不同，这就是生命的意义。如果你仅仅是陶醉于自我，沉醉于自我，你会仍然有无尽的痛苦。方法非常简单，中国人的方法非常简单，解放就是做相反的事情，就是转身。不要再这么自私，不要再有强烈的自我，多考虑别人，你的父亲、母亲、你的孩子们，你的配偶。
Instead of just thinking about yourself,
而不仅仅只考虑自己。
only thinking of yourself. Here's what happened is going to happen to your life.
如果你
People will only use you. That's it.
只是一直考虑自己，那么在你的生命中呢，别人只是会利用你。
and abuse your entire life.
你的一生呢，都会感觉到你是被别人利用了，或者是被别人滥用了，仅此而已。 你也不可能去原谅别人。
I'm going to think of others.
当你改变了，你说我不在意。
Would you like to know what's going to happen? I tell you a secret.
这样会发生什么呢？我来告诉你们这个秘密。
Don't trust free things.
我可以免费的告诉你们这个秘密。
What's going to happen?
你们不要相信那些免费的东西。
People will still use it and
会发生
abuse
什
you.
么呢？
They won't
仍然
change.
人们会利用你，会滥用你，他们不会变的。但是呢，这个呢不会让你困扰了，不会让你难受了。人们其他人还是一样的，他们是自私的，他们嫉妒，他们在意小得小失，而你发生了变化。这些情况呢都不会再困扰你了，这就是解放，这就是解脱。
This is why our students change so fast because they come here and do the
我们的
suffering.
学生们，他们变化非常快，他们到这里来承受痛苦，忍
The
受
more
痛苦。
suffering they endure, one day they woke up and say, I want to change.
他们忍受的痛苦越多，他们有一天就会醒来说：“我要改变。”
All right? Can we go
好吗？
back to profound principles? Okay.
我们可以回到甚深的
Actually, the place is speaking of
道
the
理之
system
中
is
吗？
such that pure and unclean are non-obstructive. And connection and restriction
讲这部经
interpolation,
的地方呢
each
是
having two sets of four predications. Here we go.
清净、
人
净秽无
说
染。
此经处，净秽无碍，通局交彻，各二四句。
24. It says, to tell you the truth, okay? Stop
坦率地
thinking
说，
about pure, arguing about pure or impure places.
可以不用
Because
再
it doesn't
去
matter. Okay?
纠
Because
结
pure
于
places,
这是
impure
净度
places.
还是秽度，
Okay? It's not a big
在一
deal.
个什么样的地方，这
And,
并不是一个了不起的事情，
and connection,
这没有什么
meaning
大不
that,
了的。
what is the relationship between pure versus impure?
通
Okay?
局交
Or
彻
restriction,
就是这个净度
meaning
和
that,
秽度之间的联
the
系。
connection, I talked about, do not feel that pure land and impure land are separate. Actually, they are together.
大家不要认为
They work
净
in
度和秽
unison
度
in
是
order to
分
help
开的、
you,
分别的，它
help
们是
your
在一起的，
cause,
它们
help
的
you
存
become a
在
better person.
都是为了
Okay?
帮助你们
That's connection,
成为更好
connection
的
between
人。
pure and impure. Restriction, meaning that you insist on, I'm going to go back to the impure land because I need to save people, baloney. Or I go to the pure land only because I have enough suffering. Okay?
会想我要去
Eventually,
净度，因
such
为那里
people
没有
who-
痛
such
苦。
foolish people
而你们
who
有的
wake
人
up
会想，我还要回到
and
这个娑婆
stop
世界来帮助
discriminating.
别人。
Okay? And so, you
净
should,
度和秽度都是为了帮助大家能够
Chan school, we don't
觉
use
醒。
big words like connection and restriction,
在禅
interpenetrate.
宗之
Jesus
中呢，
says,
我们不用
don't
很大的
discriminate.
词，
There's a time
我
for
们只说
impure,
你们不要有
there's
分
a
别
place
心
for。impure, there's a time for pure, there's a time for,
有
and
的时
a
候你
place
们
for
需要
impure.
净度，有的
I
需
mean
要
for pure.
需要
Okay? So
秽度，
stop, stop discriminating.
不要再有分别的
And because of that,
不要去
now
分
he
别
breaks
思考。
down into 4 more different cases.
现
Time
在呢，
is
他
up.
又具体的讲4种不同的情况。
I hope you learned something
我们的
tonight.
时间到了，我希望你们今天晚上都有些收获。
Only one person nods his head, the rest of you.
只有一个人点了点头，其他的人是在打呼噜吗？
Okay. Well, thank you all, and we'll see
好
you
的。
next time.
谢谢各位，我们下次见。